everyone. I hope you are having a good day. I just realized after I hit the intro button, I did not get my keypad. So I'm going to filibuster and hope that Tristan brings me my keypad if I filibuster long enough. Uh, but uh, but let's see. I did just get, for announcement purposes, I just learned that the Cracking the Cryptic line app is out. There was that period where I didn't publish any puzzles towards the end of December. That was because I made several puzzles for the Cracking the Cryptic line app. So anyway, I make no additional money for you buying the Cracking the Cryptic line app or anything like that. But I do have several puzzles in there, and that's cool because the very first thing I saw that got me into Sudoku in the first place was actually the sandwich app from many years ago from Cracking the Cryptic. So I'm excited to be represented in the newest app. So it's pretty cool. Also, I'm very happy that they let me put a ton of 10 lines puzzles into the line puzzle app. So that was also exciting. Speaking of lines, today's puzzle that was voted on for us to start with by supporters is called 10 Types of Lines by Math Pesto. And so this puzzle features, as you might notice, 10 lines of a whole bunch of different types. We'll go over what the types are in a minute. But I should say, first of all, if you're not aware, we get to start each puzzle words. We're going to start each stream with the most voted on puzzle by supporters. And yes, if you support at the windmill level or above, you too can vote for what puzzle we start with. This puzzle wins with 11 votes today. So this puzzle is voted for by Niverio, Ken, Paul Fly, Doomdiot, Luda, Ambrose, Josh, Russ, Math Pesto, and David. So thank you very much to all of you. We get a row 9, column 8 bet tree, I'm being told. Oh, row 8, column 9 bet tree, actually. So there you go. There's your betting tree. So we have that. Okay, so this is our puzzle. Tristan will open the betting shortly, and you can place your bets on what digit you think will go here. If you are unaware, by the way, I occasionally do this. I'll explain the bet tree. Just every puzzle that I remember to, I put a bet tree in so that people in chat can guess. There's now a bot run by Tristan that will keep track of what you bet and keep track of a pile of points that don't do anything. But don't let the fact that they don't do anything stop you from wanting to accumulate them. So you can place your bet on what digit you believe that this will be at the end of the puzzle, and if you are right, you might get a big payoff. Just to go over the tiniest bit of strategy for how it works, you earn some amount of points just by watching the stream and chatting. I think you have to chat in order to earn points. And then everyone who bets correctly, all of the points are split proportionally to how many points they bet. Okay, so something that happened twice last stream is that no one bet on 9, and 9 was the answer. And so if that happens, the house just takes all the points, and we get to build our giant pile of points that don't do anything. And so what that means is if someone had bet even 1 point on 9, they would have taken all the points. So if you don't have many points to your name, Tristan says if no one wins, we refund all the bets. Well, that's no fun. You should make people bet 1 for the digits that no one has bet for strategically, so then people can get a huge pile of points off of the people who bet a bunch. But anyway, Tristan says we actually we refund bets. Even if we refund the bets, though, it's still true that if you bet on something that no one else has bet on, then you get you can win lots of points if you do that. Even so, bear that in mind. Alrighty, so anyway, I should get into the 10 types of lines. It's funny, the thought I just had in my head was, is a between line really a line? And then I realized it had line in the name. So even though a between line I don't think is a line constraint, I must give it to Math Pesto that a between line is appropriate for a line puzzle. But anyway, we'll start here. So this is a German Whispers. So along this line, oh, this is going to be our first digit, by the way, because this exact orientation showed up in my puzzle funhouse, just rotated 90 degrees, funnily enough. But this is a German whisper. So along this line, digits have to differ by at least 5. So 1, 7, 2, whatever, as you do. Along this line, this is a Thermo. Along here, the digits have to increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would work, or any other thing like that. This is a Renban, so these need to form a string of consecutive digits, but in any order. So it could be 6, 9, 8, 7, for example. This is a between line, which means what it says on the tin. The things on the line are between the things that aren't on the line, so the things in the circles. So if this were a 6 and this were an 8, these would have to be double 7. This is a region sum line, although it's really an arrow. So in this instance, what it means is this cell is the sum of these 3 cells. So we have that. This is the 10 line, right? Yeah, this is a 10 line. So this line needs to be broken into contiguous groups of cells that sum to 10. Note that digits may repeat within sums if allowed by other rules, but it's going to be difficult to get them to repeat in this particular puzzle. But anyway, I'll go over what's going on in this column in a second. This is a Nabner line. So no 2 digits on this line can be consecutive, nor can there be any repeats on the line. This is a parity line. So the digits along this line have to alternate in parity. This is a modular line. So along here, the digits need to go through the 3 modularities. So the 3 modularities are 1 mod 3, 2 mod 3, and 0 mod 3. So we have to sort of alternate along there through those 3, and then these 2 end up being the same. And this is an entropic line, which is exactly the same as a modular line, except instead of modularities, it's entropies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I see 2 things right away, which is that this digit is odd and this digit is a 5. But let me start by explaining why this digit is a 5. So first of all, along a green line, you can never fit a 5. Because if you put a 5 along a green line, you need to discover a digit that's 5 away from 5. And there are no such things. So there are no 5s along here. However, there's definitely a low digit in here. Because if there are no low digits, I certainly am not finding digits that are 5 apart. And so in particular, that tells you that this 10 line is not 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the only thing it could be that's not 2 length 10 lines. However, that means that this domino and this domino each sum to 10. However, if that's true, if this domino and this domino each sum to 10, they certainly can't be 5, 5. And so therefore, this digit is a 5. And we can go ahead and bring in Zach for the 5 dance, the famous 5 dance, you might say. Boop-boop-ba-doo. Woo. Ba-doop-ba-doo. Wah. Ba-doop-ba-doo. Wah. Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Much appreciated. So it's funny that this exact configuration appeared independently. So the other thing I saw is that this is odd. And that's because this is 4 consecutive digits, so it's 2 evens and 2 odds. And this is a parity line, so it's 2 evens and 2 odds. And so that leaves this being an odd. So this is 1, 3, 7, or 9 in total. So I see that as well. Oh, I never, by the way, actually explained what the quadruples do. The quadruples are telling you that those digits appear somewhere in those 4 cells. So one of these is a 9. One of these is a 2, and one of them is an 8. That is what is being said here. This is certainly from 6, 7, 8, 9, owing to the fact that it's the sum of those 3 digits, for whatever that is worth. Let's see. So this digit certainly can't be a 6. I'm trying to, okay. So this digit naively is at most 6, but it can never be a 6. Because if this digit was a 6, these would be 6, 7, 8, 9, which would break both the whispers because 6 would be the only high digit and the Nabner line. So that's not going to work. So this can only actually be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Even 4 is somewhat restricted. So if there's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think I could just make it work. So it's probably that. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the standard modular line color looks very, very similar to the standard whispers color. Yes, it is true the bet tree is not an 8. I will concur with that assessment. Likewise, there's some twoage going on here that's kind of interesting. So yeah, so there's some interesting stuff going on because whispers like 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, and 4, 6, but 10 lines also like those. So we've got sort of 2 10 dominoes down here, and then the other 2 10 dominoes have to be down here. Now, it can't possibly be the case that the 1, 9 is down here, because if the 1, 9 is down here, I couldn't put the 4, 6 down here, and so I would have something like this. Oops. 1, 9, 4, 6. And so these would have to be from 2, 3, 7, 8. Oh, actually, no, this does work, doesn't it? I think this does work. Never mind. Because this can be I can just put the 2, 3, 7s at the end. That's fine. Sorry, I thought this wasn't going to work, but this actually, not that. This works. Sadly. Okay. So it's not necessarily true that there has to be a 1, 9 down here. Now, oh, that doesn't work because of the 2 quads. Okay. So there's a low in these 2 cells, but because the 2s have been eaten alive in these 2 rows, there's no 2. So the 2 that's in here is either a 1 or a 3. If it's a 1, then my 1 and 9 are up here. And if it's a 3, well, then my 1 and 9 are up here because the 3 going in either of these cells needs both a 9 and an 8, because 9 and 8 are the only 2 places. So either way, there's definitely a 1 and a 9 up here somewhere. And as soon as there's a 1 or a 9, there's a 1 and a 9 because the others come over down here. So one of these is a 9. I'm going to yellow it just to remind me I'm pencil marking across boxes. Alima's pointing out, actually, it just outright can't be a 3. Because if I put a 3, 8, 9 here, I don't have anything to put down here. Because 3, 8, 9 uses up 3 different 10 dominoes. And so I wouldn't have enough. So if I put a 3 in one of these cells, this is Alima's point, I do 3, 8, 9, and now I could make this 4, 6, but now this just has nothing it could be. So Alima's point actually lets me say that the low digit in here is a 1 for those purposes. So there is a 1 there, which is maybe noteworthy. If there's a 2 on this side, it's there, of course, which would make that a 2 and that a 1. Does that break this? Probably. If this is a 2, then this would be 2 and 1, and now this has to be from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so this would have to be... That's adorable. Oh, no, it doesn't quite work. Darn it. I was going to say I thought that broke because I couldn't fit everything here, but it doesn't because I have a 5 and I could just make these a 2, 8 pair, and I don't think those being a 2, 8 pair immediately breaks. So I can't quite disprove this being a 2 yet, I don't think. Jim points out I have a 2 quad here and a 2 quad here that eat the 2s from columns 3 and 4, so this is never a 2 at least. So I at least have that. Okay. So I can probably do the same thing I did with the low here to do the same thing with the... Oh, no, I can't. I can't. Because I use the fact that 2 was ruled out, and I don't know that 2 is ruled out here. Interesting. Yeah, it is true that there is no 8 along any of these cells for the same reason, although I don't know that that's interesting for any of these. I don't know what people are talking about 8. Let's see. Oh, this can't be 6. This is very minor. This can't be 6, because if this is 6, then this would be 1, 2, 3 to make the sum. And then that will break the entropy line, because the entropy line needs a 1, 2, or 3. In fact, actually, if you look at it, there's definitely a 1, 2, or 3 on the entropy line, but there's only 1, 1, 2, or 3 on the entropy line, because I need 2 1, 2, 3s in order to make a 3-cell sum to at most 9. This is a thing that's useful enough that it's worth sort of repeating if you haven't seen it. Anytime I have a 3-cell sum to 9 or less, it needs 2 of 1, 2, 3 if there's no repeats. And there's 1 of 1, 2, 3 in one of these cells. So these cells are all not 1, 2, 3. They are from 4 through 9. So we've got all of that. And these two are the same high-lowity. And the rest are different high-lowities. So this is, if I think about it, actually, I know this is 2 lows and a mid. And so that does leave room for these to be 2 mids or 2 highs. And then this one is going to match, because I've got basically 2 lows, a mid, and a high in these cells, is what is happening. Okay. So no huge insights yet. One of these is 1, 2, 3, but I don't know which yet. Let's see. So these aren't 8. I guess I should think about this column. And what is happening in this column. So it's got a fair amount of flexibility, actually. I'm not 100% sure I can rule anything out of this Thermo. Like, I don't even know that this Renban. I don't even know that this Renban has to have a 5 on it, actually. Might do. But I am not sure. Yeah, I know none of those are 8. So I also know these aren't 2. No, that's not true. Sorry, that's not how this works. So I know those aren't 2, but that's not interesting. I don't think. I think the only consequence of that, Jim, is that this digit is odd. Which is why... That's exactly the reasoning I used to mark that this digit is odd. You might be able to get more out of it, but maybe not. Okay, so Isabella wants me to mark that the only low digit here is 1. So the high digit then is a 6, 7, 8, or a 9. But we can rule out that it's 6 right away, because if there were a 6 in here, it would need 2 1s. But actually, by Alima's point from much earlier, we can rule out the 7 as well, because if there's a 7 in here, then it would go with a 1 and a 2, and then I would not have 2 10 dominoes down here. So Isabella would like me to mark that these are from 189, and I agree, uh, which is interesting. Now, of course, the least tense thing in the world is for these to be 1-9, because if those are 1-9, then these can be literally anything. But we shall figure it out eventually. Hey, Carl. Hope you're doing well. Okay. So Alima now has a smart point, which is that this isn't 8. Because if this was 8, that would be 9, and these would be double 1. So Alima's point is that actually one of these two is an 8. Which now means that one of these two is an 8, because this quad also needs an 8, which now means that none of these are 9, which means that in fact one of these is 9. For sure. Now that's a lot of 9 corner marks. I think now that has to be a 9, right? Because there's a 9 up here and a 9 here, right? That eats all of the 9s for these two boxes. So I know one of these is 9, and I know one of these two is 9. That's all the 9s that I can put in box 1 and box 4. So I can't put 9 here. I must put 9 here. Okay, so that is some amount of progress. Now I can just re-borrow yellow so that I can mark a 9 running across those cells. Like that. Yeah, I agree. I agree also there's not a 7 on the Nabner. Let's see. Okay, so now the Nabner, I need 3 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because 8 kills everything else. So I need 1 of 1, 2, 1 of 3, 4, and 1 of 5, 6 is what I definitely need here. I don't know. That was right. So Dorlear is pointing out that because of the words I just said that I need 1 of 1, 2, this definitely can't be a 2 anymore. And if this can't be a 2 anymore, then these are a 2-8 pair. I'm glad that that came out the way that it did, that I didn't have to do the sort of lengthy argument I was doing before. So yeah, good spot to Dorlear. And now that corner marks a 2 over onto this line, which corner marks a 1 into one of these circles, because if there's a 2 on my between line, there has to be a 1 in one of the circles up here. Right. This certainly isn't the 1, is pointed out by Sayori. Because remember I said there's 2 1, 2, 3s in here? Well, the 2 1, 2, 3s, owing to this 2, are a 1 and a 3, because I can't use 2 at all. And so the 2's actually down here, because remember, one of these needed to be low. So we're dangerously close to having the earliest bet tree in a little bit. So in particular, that's not the 1, so that's the 1. The minimum this number could be is 4. 2 and 4, so this is at least 5. This is no longer a 1, which is interesting. Get rid of that as well. So this is not a 7 anymore. Hey, Zendari. Because 7 is only 1, 2, 4, and there's a 3 in there, so that's not a 7. So it's 1 and 3 with 4 or 5, if I just want to spell this out, is what is happening. So the 7, the 7, I guess, is in a whole bunch of spots somewhere. Now, the fact that this is at least a 3 means this is at least a 4, this is at least a 5, and this is at least a 6, and I'm sure I can do way better than that. Because I have to use 1 of 3 and 4 on this. Because remember, this has 1 of 1, 2, 1 of 3, 4, and 1 of 5, 6. So this could never be a 4, actually. This is at least a 5. So this is now at least a 6. But this can't be 6, because if this was a 6, that would be 5, and that would wipe out 5 and 6, and I need one of 5 and 6. So this is in fact at least 7 at a minimum, which now just means this is a 9 because of the fact that it's bigger than 7. So that's a 9. So that's a 9. So we've got that. So that has dealt with some of my, that has dealt with some of my pencil marks. So this isn't a 9 anymore. So now that's done lots of things, because now these aren't, well, oh, sorry. Now this is an 8. Let's do that first. So these are 1, 3, 4. So these are not 4. That's not 4. So we've got all of that. I wanted to say something about 8 in here, but I think that can just barely be an 8. But I will note that 9 in this box is now quite restricted to go in one of those cells. Yeah, people want me to fill in that this is a 1 and an 8. So that gives me the 2 and the 8 and the 2 over here. So this isn't a 1. And now this is a 2 or 3. Oh, and it can't be a 3 because of the 10 line, right? Because now I can't make 2, 8 or 1, 9. So these are 3, 7, and 4, 6. And that's a 2, is what people would like me to observe. Okay, this is at least a 7, but it just outright is a 7. This is at least a 5. So I think it is a 5 or a 6. This is a 3 or a 4. This digit now, there's 2 virtual pairs going on, because there's a 3 or a 4 and a 5 or a 6 on here. So if I write out what this can be, it's actually not 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And it's not 7 or 9 either. And it's not 8, because there's an 8 down there. So this is the 1 or a 2. If you want, I could have done that in a more elegant way. If I'd have known the answer in advance, I could have asked where are 1 and 2 in this column. Only one of them can go there. The other has to go there. That would have been the more elegant way to phrase the same style of deduction. Oh, and people are pointing out by the quads, it's not 2, because there's a 2 quad here and a 2 quad here. Actually, that 2 has made this a 2-8 pair. Let's just fill that in. That 2-8 pair has made that a 1. And also, the 3, 4 on here is now not a 3, because 3 and 2 are consecutive. So that's actually a 4. And so we've got that down there. So that's actually a 3. There we go. Right. So yes, the 3, 4, yeah, I said all the right words and then filled in exactly the wrong conclusion, which was that I can't put 3 on this line, so the 3 had to go there. But now there's a 4 on this line, so I can't put a 5 on it, and so the 5 in the column has to go there. And now this is ye old 3, 4, 6 triple. That's not a 3, so that's not a 7. These are a pair of something and something. These are a 4, 6 pair. Okay, so that in particular being 4, 6 tells me this is not a 4, 6 domino. This is a 3, 7 domino, and this is a 4, 6 domino. So that's not 3, that's not 7. That's not 1 anymore. These are some digits that don't include 4 or 6, because I already have a 4, 6 pair in the box. Those are 2, 7, and 8. And so these are not 3, 4, or 6, and they're not 2, 7, or 8. These are 1 and 5 over down here. Hey, Andrew, I hope you're doing well. So we've got all of that. So that seems to be firing off on all cylinders. Okay, so there's no 8 on this Renban anymore. So there's no 9 either. This is at most, the digits on this are at most 7, because of the no 8 policy. And I guess that means there's definitely a 4 on here, because whether I go 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, I always need to have a 4. Unfortunately, that doesn't tell me anything yet. Okay. Alrighty. So Aurei says I should look at this 2-7 quad. The 7 and the 2-7 quad is placed. Getting rid of 7 from all of these. So these are actually only from 1 through 6. Can that be a 7 with this being a 4, 5, 6? I don't immediately see a reason why not. There probably is a reason why not, but I don't see it right away. Okay. If this Renban has a 2 on it at all, the 2 is there, which is interesting. So I'm trying to decide what to do with that. So if it either has no 2 or the 2 is there, I don't quite know what to do with that yet. Sayori is noticing sudoku things that 7 and 8 both leer into this box, making these two a 7-8 hidden pair. So we've got that going on. So this digit is at most 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's not 3 or 4 because there's a 3 or a 4. Sorry, there's a 3 and a 4 over there. So that is a 5 or a 6. I'm waiting for it to turn out that some combination of this is going to break the modular line, but I haven't seen it yet. Like the modular line can't be 2, 5, 8, for example, but that's not super exciting. Okay. So whereas 9 in row 3 has been called, 9 in row 3 just goes here. So this is a 5 or a 6. Making those a 5, 6 pair, meaning that's not a 5 or a 6 or a 2. That's not a 6 anymore. That is a 3 or a 4. So that is a 1, 3, 4 triple in the row, which means that I can place 9 in the row there as the only digit that is not completed, which lets me place 9 on the modular line. Okay, which now means that this digit, it's not 9, and it's not 6 or 3 either, because it's a different modularity from 9. And it's not 1 or 2, and it's not 8. So this is 4, 5, or 7 are the only options. So likewise, this digit is the same modularity as this one. 4 would make this a 7. 5 would make this an 8. 7 would make it a 4. But there's a 4, 6 pair looking at it. Thank you, chat. So we can just fill in. 5 would make this an 8. 7 would make this a 4. Those are the 2 options for this. So there's always a 7 or 8 here. So that is a 7, 8 virtual pair in the column. So this is, when I write out what it can be, it's not 7 or 8. And it's not 9 either. It's not 1 for sure. It's not 2 either. It seems not to be 5. So this is only 3, 4, or 6. Oh, this is the only place for 3 in the column. Garian sees it too. 3, I just can't place 3 anywhere else in the column. So this is just a 3. So we've got that. And so this digit must be... Well, 4 in this column has to go in one of these 2 cells, right? Because I've got to put a 4 in the column somewhere. One of them is 4. So if that's 4, that's 8. If this is 4, then that is 7. And then this is 8. I can probably think ahead far enough to get there, but I'm not quite there. 3 on this quad is just here because of that 3 in the bulb, and has been forever. And that was probably less complicated than some of the other things I did. Okay, so we know the low down here is a 2. And we know it's roughly in one of those 2 cells. I might as well fill in that my Z-wing on 2s here is telling me that one of these 2 cells is a 2. This is not a 3. Yes. Okay. Ron is pointing out 6 is not on the modular line because it would have nowhere to go. So the 6 always goes here. So that's a 6 and that's a 5. So the 5 always goes on the modular line somewhere, either there or there, for whatever that is worth. Probably only a minimal amount, if I am being honest about it. Oops, I randomly hit a button. Don't randomly hit buttons. Or do. I'm not your mother. 9 in this box is in one of these 2 cells. I'm going to note. Okay. 7 or 9. Okay, yeah, so this is still that. Kurban, if 4 is here, then 7 would be there. Because 4 and 7 are the same modularity. Hey, Jaleb, I hope you're doing well. 6 is on the Nabner. For sure. Let's see. There's a 1-3 down here, I am noticing. So that's kind of funny. Oh, no, it doesn't work. Well, that can't be a 1. Right, because of the 1-3. Yeah, I guess I kind of knew that wasn't going to be a 1 already. It's not a 3 either, for that matter. I was thinking that if these are 1-3, it would make those 2 1-3, but that... Jaleb, the lines aren't mod 4. The lines are mod 3. So we don't need anything mod 4. Let's see. It's being said that this isn't an 8. Let's double check that. If this was an 8, then I would need these to be a 4-7 pair, and that doesn't work. I agree. Yep, so if this is an 8, these would have to be a 4-7 pair, and that's a problem because that would break that cell. So this is not an 8, so there's an 8 over here in one of those cells. Now where does 8 go in column 5 is the point. 8 in column 5 goes here, because there's nowhere else it can go, because there's no 7 on the Renban, so there's no 8 either. So these are now an actual 1-3 pair, rather than a sort of like hanging cliff note of a 1-3 pair. These are from 2, 4, or 6. There's no way it's a 4 because the Renban definitely has a 4. So this is a 2 or a 6. These are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That one at least is not a 9. Let's see. This is an 8 because there's a 2-7 pair, Jace points out. So that is an 8. Very good. Let's see. 7, 8. 8. This isn't a 5 anymore. It's not an 8 either. 6, 7, or 9. Okay. 9 in row 6 is indeed interesting, Kurban points out. Because 9 in row 6, actually, if I look, none of those can be 9. That can't be 9. So actually that has to be 9, which makes that a 7. Which makes that a 6. Makes these a 2-5 pair for those. So that is a 3 and a 7. One of these is a 7. That's not a 3 or a 7. We know one of those is a 5 still. Oh, one of those is a 5 and one of these is a 5. So that gives me a Z-wing on 5s, which means this is a 1 and that's a 5. Okay. Good. Let's center mark these cells. So those are apparently 2, 4, and 7. Yes, meaning that this is a 5. And if that's a 5, then this is an 8 because it needs to be the same mod 3. That's a 7 and an 8. This needs to be a 4 for the column or the line or whatever you want. Whatever works. So this is not a 4. Those are a 2-7 pair. Those are a 1-3 pair. Sure are. Let's see. This is a triple that's potentially interesting. They certainly none of these are 2. So these are 1, 3, 6. Not quite yet, actually, fascinatingly enough. So one of these is a 5. Oh, people are saying I can remove 5s because of my corner marked 5 here. Agree. Let's see. I'm going to mark all of these cells because they might be useful. Or they might be a horrifying mess. You never know. Let's see. This is only a 4 or a 6, I suppose. Let's note that. Again, this is the only place in this column for a 2 to go on this thing. 2 in row 9, Garion would like to contemplate. So 2 in row 9 is only there because of that 2. Yep, agree. So that's a 2. That's a 6. And that's going to do it. So that's a 4. That's a 4. And so that's a 6. Not a 4, not a 4, not a 4. None of those are 4. That's not 4 either. That's a 7-9 pair, so that's a 2. That's not a 6. There's no 6 on the Renban, so there's certainly no 7 on it. This is not a 2 or a 4 or a 6. It's a 1, 3, or a 5. So this Renban 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 is not high enough. This Renban needs a 2, regardless of how it works out. So that's always the 2 on the Renban. So that's a 7 and a 2. The Renban needs a 3, and then a 1 or a 5 in some order. So that's a 7 and a 4. Let's see. That's a 3 and a 1 and a 6. Let's see. That is a 3 or a 7. That's not a 2. That's not a 7. So, of course, always a 3 on it. So those aren't 3. Those are from 1, 5, or 6. This is not 2 anymore because I placed the 2 that I had corner marked. The 7 and the 9. Oh, this is never a 3. Why on earth do I have this marked as a 3? I definitely need a 3 between the 2 and the 4. So this is a 7. That's the point. So that's a 9 and a 7. That's a 1, which makes that a 3 and that a 5. 4 and 3, 1 and 4. So let's see. So let's just mark up this box. Seems healthy to do at this point. That's a 9. One of these is an 8. Okay, there must be is there a quad left over? Or am I just, oh, no, that's not going to do it. Oops. That's a lot of 5s. Let's see. Oh, this column, where does the 6 go? No, that doesn't quite do it. Oh, this 5 looks up at that cell. There we go. One of these is a 5 by the quad. So that's a 6 and a 5 and a 1 and a 6 and a 3 and a 1 and a 5 and a 4 and an 8 and a 3 and a 2 and an 8 and a 2 and a 5. So congratulations to all the 5 betters out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. Lovely puzzle, Math Pesto. I quite enjoyed that. Very nice. Alrighty, I'm going to stretch my legs real quick, and I'll be back with more puzzles. I love puzzles like this that sort of mix up a bunch of constraints like this. It tends to be something that delights me when it happens, so very well done. So I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Continuing the journey, we have not done an old me puzzle in a while. Here is an old me puzzle. So you can tell this is an old puzzle for two reasons. One of which is that it's a Renban puzzle, and the Renban are gray rather than purple, because this was before Renban had their color. I pictured some sort of movie story of how the Renban went from gray to purple or whatever. But also this puzzle is called 159 and has nothing to do with indexing, because 159 puzzles didn't exist yet, at least in the general ether either. So anyways, this is again an old puzzle, but let us have fun with it. Obviously Renban are my babies, so I am quite delighted by it. So, wow, Laura, you've caught up by watching all the past ones. Well, welcome to the present. I hope you enjoy it. So the way Renban work, they were in the last puzzle, but the last puzzle had a lot of characters. So just to remind you, these need to be a string of consecutive digits in any order. Right. And so the reason why the title is 159 is because if you have a length 4 Renban, it needs to have a 1 mod 4, a 2 mod 4, a 3 mod 4, and a 0 mod 4 number on it. But there's an imbalance in the way that that works because there's 3 1 mod 4 numbers. And so one of them is here, one of them is here, the other one must be here. And so this is a 1 mod 4 number, and I'm going to color those in this puzzle. So this is 1, 5, and 9. Or sorry, it's 1, 5, or 9. And I know that these aren't. And so this is, again, 1, 5, or 9 for exactly the same reason. Actually, I'm not going to gray it. That looks terrible. So this is 1, 5, 9 for the same reason. So that one's not. So none of these are 1, 5, or 9. But there are still 2 1, 5, 9s yet to be placed in the box. Maybe I will do it, but I'll do it with green to indicate it's not 1, 5, 9. So in this box, there are 2 1, 5, 9s to place. One has to go on each Renban. Because you can't you can't place 2 on 1. So therefore, these are not 1, 5, or 9. There's 1 on each Renban, though. Now, in this box now, yep. So in this box now, only 1 can go here, and 1's there, so the other's there. So we now know where all the 1, 5, 9s are, at least roughly, in this box. And I know one of them's there, so this one isn't. So I actually know this black dot doesn't have a 1 or a 9 on it. If you are excited by black dots not having 1s or 9s on them. And again, actually, if your Renban is even shorter than 4, it certainly doesn't have 2 1, 5, 9s. So this is definitely a 1, 5, 9. There. Let's see. So continuing our adventures, where do we look next? Let's see. Okay, I know there's 1 there, and I know there's 1 here. So one of these 2 is a 1, 5, or 9, but that doesn't sort of immediately tell me anything. Okay. One thing I can ask myself is which of these is a 5? Because I might be able to tell which of these is the 5 if I can identify where some digit goes in some box. Because if I can identify that there's a digit that goes on 2 different Renban, then I know that it's not 1 or 9 and has to be a 5. Let's see, Kurban says row 2's right. Row 2, that's very, very well observed. Row 2 needs 3 1, 5, 9s. That means 1 on each Renban. That means none of these can be 1, 5, 9 because the 1, 5, 9s are already there in the row. Very true. Good spot. Okay, so I need a bunch of them in here. In fact, I need 6 of them in here, right? Right. I need 6 of them in here. That's very cute. I need 6 total, and I only get 3 there. So all 3 of these are 1, 5, 9s. Because there's just nowhere else to put them. And I need to get to my allotment of them. So that does something, maybe, possibly. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? I know one of these 2 is. But not quite sure yet. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to go in there somewhere. Do I know that one of these two is a 159, Ron? Oh, row 5, column 8. Row 5, column 8. Yes, I know that one of those three is. Sorry, I was reading row 4, column 8. Row 5, column 8. Yes, that's definitely green. Because, again, my 3 that I accounted for in these cells, one of them's there, one of them's there, and one of them's there. So, actually, those are green as well when we do that. Okay, this 159... Oh, no, it could go there. Darn it. I was about to say something that was not true. My usual MO. Let's see. So one of these is, one of these is. Oh, clever. Todd has figured out that this is 3, 6 for the following reason. This is 2 evens and an odd. And I know that because that's odd. So this is 2 evens and an odd, just because of the Renban. And that's all the rest of the evens in the box. And therefore, this cell is odd, but it can't be a 1 because 1 isn't green. So this is indeed a 3. And we can get our penguin on. So let us bring out Zach for the 3 dance. Boop boop ba doop. Woo! Boop boop ba boop. Woo! Ba doop ba doop. Woo! Ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop. Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So therefore, one of these is the 9. I guess I should fill in the 6 as well. One of these is the 9 because the 9 certainly isn't going with a 3. So that's definitely not a 9. So one of these does have a 9 on it for whatever that is worth. Let's see. 1 doesn't go with 6 is a good spot. This one can't be 1 for very similar reasons that we've got there. Yeah, one of these is 4 or 8. So one of these is 1, 2, right? Because I can't put... Where does 2 go in this box, and what does it go with? Because I can't put 2 on a Renban with a 6. So the 2 goes on one of these, and the 3's already gone. So one of these is a 2 with a 1, meaning that's not a 1. As we continue our journey through this. So yeah, one of these is a 1. And the other is the other 5, 9. So is it a 5 with a 4? Or is it a 9 with an 8? And I think annoyingly both work. Smart spot from Kurban. This definitely isn't 1. Because if this is a 1, I'd need a 3 in one of these, and I'm not allowed to have that. So that's a 1 up there. So these are a 2, 3, 4. And so these are a 7, 8 pair. Okay, so now the 9, thanks to Kurban's point, now the 9's not allowed on one of these lines because it would need an 8, and so the 9, in fact, goes there. So we've got that. So the 9 is up in one of these 2 cells in this box. Is this true? No, darn it. I was gonna be cute, but I don't think I can be cute. The 9, I'm not sure about the 9 there. Okay. Yeah, so it is a 4-5 on the other one. For whatever that is worth. See, Meti is saying this can't have a 5 on it. I don't see why. Yet. There's definitely a 4 on this Renban. I agree with Mekdi on that. One of these is a 4, because every Renban with a 3 needs a 4, so that's not a 4. If that was a 2, then this would have to be 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, right. The 1 in this box is on here, right? That's what Saori has been trying to get me to see. The 1 has to go somewhere in this box, and it's not green. That's the whole reason we did it. So this is 1, 2, 4. There we go. And so that's a 3. Okay. I'm with you now. Oops. Sorry. Good spot. Oh, so Carl points out there's no 9 on this line because it would have to have a 7 and an 8, and it can't. So the 9 is actually in one of these 2 cells only. And so the 9 is actually in one of these 2 cells only. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 6, 7, 8. For whatever that is worth. So let's see. Okay, I know that one of these is. I know that one of these is. I know that one of these is. Okay, Kurban's reminding me that one of these is 1, 2, and one of them is 4, 5. But if this is 4, 5, it does horrible things to this Renban. Because if this is 4, 5, then this Renban's obligated to have a 1 on it, but not a 4. So, in fact, this is... Oops. Dagnammit. This is the 4, 5. The screenshot button is close to the other button on my keypad, which is why... To the backspace button, which is why that happens all the time. So there's a 5 along here somewhere, for whatever that is worth. Yeah. No 1 or 2 on here. Mekti pointing out that 3 in this box is actually on one of these spots. And that's going to be challenging if the 3 is here. Because the only way I could make a 3 work is with a 4, 5, 6. And I don't know that I can make 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I definitely can't make 3, 4, 5, 6 because there's a 4 in the box already. So I definitely can't do that. So the 3 doesn't go here. So the 3 does go up here. So the 9 doesn't go there. So the 9 goes there. The 9 is purple. The 3 is green. Which makes this a 5. And makes this green. That was just because of the need for purplaging in here. So this is green and this is purple because that's a 5 and that's a 4. So this is not 4. These are, of course, 6, 7, 8 for lots of reasons. And this is also a 6, 7, 8. there needs to be a 4 in one of these two cells. But then along with the 4, I could have a 2 or a 6. Oh, I certainly can't have a 4 and a 6. If I put a 4 and a 6 here, I am really screwed. Because if I put a 4 and a 6 here, I need to put a 2 and an 8 on this Renban. The much easier way to see this is to ask the question, where does 2 go in this row? And realize that if you put 2 on a length 4 Renban when you're not allowed to use a 3 or a 1 or a 5, it goes very badly. So, in fact, actually, this is just a 2-4 pair. I did that in a much more convoluted way than it needed to be done, but that's okay. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got all of that. And so now, say Aurei would like us to contemplate where 1 goes in this row, because I certainly can't put 1 on this Renban, because if I put a 1 on this Renban, it needs a 2, 3, and a 4, but the 2 and the 4 would both have to go there. That sounds bad. So there's a 1 here, and this whole Renban is 1, 2, 3, 4, and these aren't 1. That one's not 3 either. So one of these is 3. I don't know if that's really worth marking. Okay, so this row now is interesting. So if I put a 3 on this Renban, I guess here's the way to put it. I need exactly 1 of 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this Renban. Which one is it going to be? And the answer is it's going to be 4, because if it's anything else, then we have some nightmare. Oh, yeah, there's a random 6 corner mark. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7 is the point. So that's 2, and that's 4. So these are a 1, 3 pair. These are a 2, 4 pair, but that's the 2, and that's the 4 in that story. Let's see. So these digits are far too large. Yeah, these digits are at least 4. Oh no, they're at least 5. These digits actually see 1, 2, 3, and 4, the 4 coming from the row. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, actually. So that is interesting. People pointing out that this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 means that that's actually an 8. Agree with that statement. So these aren't 6 or 7, actually. So there's definitely an 8 in these cells, because otherwise these would be a 5, 9 pair, and that's not going to work. So there's an 8 in those cells, which means the 8 in row 1 is up there, and that's green. And now those are 6, 7, 9, so there's not a 9. So these are 5 and 8, and these are 6 and 7 in order to make that work. That one's not 5 anymore. And this is an 8 or a 5, I suppose. But in particular, that 6, 7, 9, and 5 have told me that that's the 4. I guess I could have known that from this box as well. There's all kinds of things going on, I suppose. What are these? They're not 5, 6, or 7. So these are 1, 3, and 9. Well, the 1's not going here. That's for darn sure, because if the 1 goes here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and look up at that. That would be a problem. Let's see. The 9's not going here for almost exactly the same reason. If the 9 went there, I would need an 8, and I'm not allowed to have an 8. So this is a 1 or a 3. It actually... let's see. If it's a 3... If this is a 1, then that's a 2, and that's a 3. If this is a 3, then I think there's a little bit of optionality for how this works. Oh, no. If this is a 3, I still need a purple on this line. There's always a purple on this line, regardless. So if this is a 3, I would need this to be purple. And so it would be a 1, and that would be a 2. Uh, so this is always a 2? Why on earth is this always a 2? Uh, oh, it could be 3, 5, 4, right? Could be 3, 5, 4, and put the 5 there. Okay, maybe that's okay. That might be fine. Okay, if this is a 9... Okay, if this is a 3, then this is a 5, I guess. Oh, there's a 6, 7, 8 triple in the row, Carl points out, which makes life much easier, because that means the things I have left are 1, 5, 9, and 2. Therefore, that's certainly not the 2, because if this was a 2, then that would have to be a 3, and there's no way I'm avoiding breaking that. So in fact, there's just basically a naked 2 in the row, or sorry, a hidden 2 in the row there. So that's a 2. Okay, and so now, if this is a 1, sorry, if this is a 3, everything on this is green, so that's not allowed. So that's a 1. That's a 9. That's a 3 and is green. Hey, Brennan, hope you're doing well. Oh, also 5, 6, and... Oh, sorry, no, 5, 6, and 7 aren't green. What am I talking about? Okay, well, this is not a 9, so that is a 9. So that's not a 9. And so it's green / blue. Take your pick. Okay, so this is purple. Oh, these... That's very interesting. These two cells see 1, 5, and 9, so they're green, and therefore that's purple and is a 9. And therefore these are all green. So that 9 looks over and makes that a 5, which makes that a 9. This has become a 9 by purpling power. This has become a 3 by how Renbans work. This needs a 4, regardless of which way we make this work. If this is a 3 and a 1, it still needs a 4. And if this is a 3 and a 5, it definitely needs a 4. That looks up there, which makes that a 2 and a 4. But that being a 2 has told me this can't be a 1, because then I would need a 2, and I'm not allowed to have it. So actually, that's the 5, and that's the 1. So actually, this is now forced to be 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are a 4, 6 pair, which now means that this digit is a 7 and is henceforth green. I do know that these are 6, 7, 8. I might as well fill in. Oh, and this one is a naked 7 out of all of those. So that's a 6, and that's the 8. So that's the 5, and that's the 8. So that's purple, and that's green. That is purple, and that's green. This is purple as well, making that a 6 and that a 7. Making that a 4 and that a 6. Making that a 6 and a 7 and a 6 and an 8 and a 7. And a 4. Making it green. Not a 4. That's a 9, so it's purple. And this is green. Let's see. These are a 1, a 2, and a 3, apparently. And that one's not the 2. This one has apparently become the 9 by Sudoku alone. I'll fill that in. That one's not the 3. It is a 1 or a 2. This is a 1 or a 2, but it's green. And if this is a 1 or a 2, but it's green, it's not a 1. So that one's the 1. So this is the 1. That's the 2 and the 3. Purple, green, green. Purple, green. 1, 3. This is purple. That's green. Hey, Dempa, welcome. Glad you could catch us live. We are on a pretty regular schedule now. Why was this green? Did we really know that this was green? Or had I just randomly greened it for no reason? Sorry, that one, whichever one it was, that one. Did we actually know that this cell was green? When did that cell become green? That cell seems to have become green a long time ago. DWeb believes we did it randomly, though, so maybe I should not use that logic, and I should ungreen it. I made it green when I placed the 4. Okay, fabulous. One more back. No, I think that was good. So we'll get rid of the green there. And we'll still place the 1, 2, 3 over here. That's a 3. That's a 2. This is a naked something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a naked 8. 4, 5, 6. That's a 7. This is still a 9. This is still green. This is the 9 again. Okay. This dot, Saori is pointing out, is now 3, 6, because it's not 4, 8 or 2, 4, and it's not 1, 2, so it's got to be the 3, 6 flavor, and we actually know the order. So there's a 3 there. Well, we should know the order. 3 there and a 6 there. There's a 7 and a 6. Let's see. This is a 1 or a 2 to finish the column. Okay, so I know that I'm not allowed to go up to 8. So therefore, if I'm not allowed to go up to 8, I go up at most to 7. And then I need a 5 and a 4 on here is the point. And if I need a 5 on here, the only place I can put it is there. And the only place I can put the 4 is there now. And so now this is a 7 or a 3. I'm not sure I actually know which. Sven does, though. Sven knows that it's a 7. Thank you, Sven. So that is an 8 and a 7. This is a 3, apparently. This box, we can just go ahead and mark all up. So this is a 2 and a purple. Oops. Ah! A 2 and a 5. This is a 1 or an 8, and it's not an 8, so it's a 1. And so this is a green, and this is a purple. And this is a green. And so that's a purple. And so that's green. And that's purple. And so I think it turns out we actually did randomly have the correct coloring before. If you chase through that. 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So these are both green. In fact, actually, those are both green as well. And that one's green, and that one's purple. And we can fill in the 3 and the 1, the 3 and the 2, the 1, 2, 3, 4. And our bet tree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is an 8. So congratulations to all the 8 bettors and ranks out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. None of the 5s turned out to be green. That's true. That's true. I really should have made the made my coloring so that green was the 1, 5, 9s. No 8 bettors. Tragedy, tragedy. See, I say we just keep the winnings, and then we can retire on the house money. But Tristan keeps wanting to refund people's money, and we're never going to get to retire by then. But lovely. I quite enjoyed that. I have not thought about this puzzle in ages, because this is one of the puzzles that when I said it, I didn't like it enough to publish it on LMD, or like at the time, I was super picky about only posting stuff on LMD that I thought the LMD people would like. Yes, well, I kind of forgot it was a me puzzle, I'll be honest, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. This is like one of my favorite me puzzles that I have solved on stream, just in terms of the solving experience. Mostly because I just have not thought about this puzzle in forever. And I don't think even a lot of people did it at the time. So I think this puzzle just overall not been thought about a lot. But this was a cool thing that worked. Yeah, definitely would be better with purple lines. With purple lines, this would be much more popular. That is my theory. Uh, but yeah, this was sort of a. Oh no, this wasn't the follow up. The follow up, the next one is the follow up, isn't it? Uh, yeah, the next one's Stingray. Okay, so the next puzzle in the Zeta series, when we get to the next one, is a very similar idea, except it's mod 3 coloring instead of mod 4 coloring. And I think it is one of my it's at the nastier end of my puzzles, I'll say. Uh, but that is for next time. For now, I can tell you we're about to do a Marty Sears puzzle. So I will be back in a moment with a Marty Sears puzzle called Counting. Or sorry, no, called Circular Reasoning. So I'll be back in just a moment. So ta-ta, see you shortly. All right, welcome back. So I have this Marty Sears puzzle with a little bit of a story. So I was hanging out in Nell's stream yesterday, as I often do, and we did a Marty puzzle with this rule set, by which I mean she did the puzzle, and I said in chat and said things that were occasionally useful. So I really liked the rule set and loved the puzzle. So Marty suggested if I wanted one to do on stream, I could do this one. Now, I told Tristan he has to do the one I really liked. So look forward to Tristan doing a puzzle with this rule set at a later date and time. But for now, you get me doing this. So this combines two rule sets. One of which is the fact that the digit in an arrow circle is equal to the sum of the digits along it. That's thing one. And thing two is that a digit in a circle indicates how many circles contain that digit. So in other words, if there's a 5 in a circle, there's exactly 5 5s in circles. Otherwise, there's 0 5s in circles. And so a useful thing to do right away is to count how many circles there are. Let's see, 5, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 39, 40, 43. There seem to be 43 digits in circles. Did I do that right? If I did that correctly... Oh, Tristan gets 44. D-Web also gets 43. Okay, so D-Web and I are on 43. Okay, it is 43. Okay, so 43 in total. Okay, so the total... So an interesting thing is, if you think about it, if you sum all the digits that are in circles... you get the number of circles. Because if there's a 9 in a circle, then you get 9 9s in circles. And so that's 9 circles. And so this is what I learned about these puzzles. And so in particular, the thing that I've learned, because the sum is 43, is that the only digit that doesn't show up in circles is 2. So there's never a 2 in any circle in this puzzle. Every other digit shows up in a number of circles equal to its number. Okay, so that is the thing to remember. Okay. Do you have a recommended bet tree, Marty? If you have a recommended bet tree, a cell that will appear late in the solve, or if someone wants to see what the last cell Simon filled in is, that will also work. So we've got a 7, 8, 9 here. So this is just because the minimum sum here is 7. And so this is always a 1, 2, 3 because it at most does that. So Garion with a good spot that because 9 is in a circle in this puzzle, every 9 is circled. And so there has to be a circled 9 in every row, column, and box. But in particular, that means this digit is a 9. And we get a 9 dance. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Woohoo! Ba-doop, ba-doop. Woohoo! Ba-doop, ba-doop, waha! Ba-doop, ba-doop, wee-hee! Ba-doop, boop, ba-ba! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So we can do the exact opposite thing in row 5, where 2 is the only digit that's not circled, and it's there. So that is a 2. And that's a 2 as well. It is being pointed out because of the column. Now, the circled 1 is in this row, and there's only one circled 1. So the circled 1 so this row does not have a circled 1. So one of these two cells is a 1. One of these two cells is a 1. This can't possibly be asking me to do a skyscraper, can it? Row 2, column 9 for the bet tree. There is our bet tree. By the way, I never turned on row column labels. I don't know why. Probably because I did a puzzle 17 years ago with a thing. Right, this is a 1-2 pair, right? Because the other thing that's not in these is a 2 per se, Aurei. These are a 1-2 pair. Right. So every 8 is circled except for the 8 in this row. I don't know if that's going to be useful. Are there any other places that are really tight? Oh, this column also has a 1-2 pair for the exact same reason. Because again, the 1 is already circled here, and there's only 1 in a circle. So these are a 1 and a 2. Let's see. What? I know 2s aren't circled. And I know that. Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, no, never mind. Right, row 5, column 7 could be, but the point is that this row needs a circled 1, and this column needs a circled 1, but there's only one circled 1, so that this is the 1. That's what people in chat are saying. And somehow in my brain, I just assumed that this wasn't a 1, which it's not. But I did not do a good job of verifying that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and again, exactly the same thing's going to happen in this row, where these are going to be a 1-2 pair. This can't possibly be a 1, though, because there's definitely a 1 in these cells. Because if neither of these is a 1, the minimum of these cells is 9, 10. This cell can't be a 10. So one of those is a 1. So actually, that's the 2, and that's the 1, and that's the 2. And that's the 1, and that's the 2. So we get all of that. Oh, that's a 1 as well. So the 2 in this box, I know is in one of these 2 cells. I might as well point out. The 2 in this box, I know is in one of these 2 cells. Therefore, the 2 in this box is in fact here, right? I don't think I cheated. I think that's right. So that's a 2. Oh, this needs to be a 1, because if this isn't the 1, then I've got another 1 in a circle. So that's got to be a 3. So that's got to be a 1. So that's a 1. So this is a 3, 4, or 5, to go with whether this is a 7, 8, or 9. Okay. So Garian is suggesting maybe it's time to think about circled 3s. And so, for example, these 3 rows have the 3 circled 3s. So I can have no circled 3s outside of there. And so, for example, in this box, the circled 3 can, in this box, the 3 can only go there. D-Web pointing out, actually, we get the same thing in column 3, 5, and 7. And so the circled 3s all have to go there. So that's definitely not a circled 3. So we've also got 3 circled 3s in these columns. So we can't have any circled 3s outside of rows and columns 3, 5, and 7. Rows 3, 5, and 8, columns 3, 5, and 7. Dempa pointing out these are a 1-2 pair because the 1s are also pushed into these 2 cells. Agree. this column is not allowed to have a circled 3. That would be too many circled 3s. Because, again, we've eaten all the circled 3s in here. So this is the 3. And now, funnily enough, we now have all 4 circled 4s are in these 4 columns. So there aren't any circled 4s outside of these 4 columns, which is kind of funny. Let's see. Right. So row 8 needs a circled 3. Carl points out it needs to go in column 3, column 5, or column 7. Well, it doesn't go in the box with a 3. And if it went here, it would make this a 2. But the row already has a 2. So therefore, it goes there, which is a smart spot from Carl. Yeah, the circles are super clever. I'd never seen them until recently. But I quite enjoy them. This is not allowed to be a 3. Because if this is a 3, it breaks my rules about 3s in rows. The 3s in rows are only allowed to go in row 3, row 5, and row 8 that are circled. So that's not a 3. So there's a 3 on this arrow. And there's also a 2 on it, actually, just by the same Sudoku. And so actually that's the 2 and that's the 3. And I believe that 2 plus 3 is 5. That was rather generous. So this can't be a 4. Because that would make this a 5. And so this is a 6, 7, or 8, making this a 7, 8, or 9, going there. Okay. Okay, good spot. So now D-Web points out, now I should look for 9 in column 8. 9 in column 8 has to go in a circle. This is the only circle in column 8 that can accommodate a 9. So now 9 in this box goes in one of these 2 cells. I should mark. So now 9 in this box goes in one of these 2 cells. I should mark. And so now 9 in column 2 is actually placed there. So we've got all of that at least. Let's see. 1 in box 6. Remember, there's only 1 in a circle, and it's here. And so Screaming Ice Cube's pointing out 1 in box 6 can only go there now, which sorts out that 2 and that 1, which sorts out that 2. Good. Is 9. 9 in box 5. Several people say Aurei and Paul Fly are pointing out 9 in box 5 needs to go in a circle, so it's there, which places a 9 there. Which is interesting. This is a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6, making this a 5, a 6, a 7, or an 8, just for the record. Yeah, Sarah's pointing out something I said earlier, but that I assume as now doing something, which is that the only uncircled 8 is in row 7. So all the other 8s are circled. Is there somewhere where that's relevant now? It was not. I couldn't figure out how to use it earlier. But okay. So the point is to look at row 7 and column 8, because column 8 also has an uncircled 8. And so the point is there's only one circled 8 between row 7 and column 8. And so that 8 has to go there. Okay, thank you, Sarah. That was great. Okay. Uh, so now in column 2, we now have to put the 8 in a circle, and now that's no longer an option. And so now that's the 8, and that's the 6. There. Let's see. What are these digits? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I knew where all the 4s were circled at some point. Do I know where all the 4s are circled in rows? No. I know where all the 4s are circled in columns, and it's these 4 columns. So this, at least, I know is not a 4. Oh, did I just snipe the bet tree? I just sniped the bet tree, didn't I? No, I did not. No, I did, didn't I? No, it could still be. This could still be a 4. Never mind. All right. Okay, Sarah wants me to mark that 8 in box 5 is in one of these 2 cells. I agree, which then looks up here, which puts the 8 in box... Oh, then in box 8, right, which then puts the 8 there, down here. So that's not an 8. And so if that's not an 8, that's not a 4. It's a 3 or a 5. One of these 2 is a 9. I should just go ahead and mark for sure. Okay. What is left in this box? 3, 4, 5, 7. That one's not a 3. Okay, yeah, that is one of the columns that's allowed to have a circled 4. And this is one of the columns that's allowed to have a circled 4. Oh, 8 in box 2, Lakia is pointing out now, just by Sudoku, was placed there. I agree with that assessment. The 8 in this box is in one of these 2 cells. So the 8 in this box is here. Let's see. Dang, autocorrect. One of these 2 is a 1. Ah, yes, 8 in box 7 is there. Is that all the 8s? Not quite. But I've got quite a few 8s for whatever it's worth. Okay, let's fill in these circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These aren't 5. And one of them is the 4 for the row, actually. So these aren't 6 or 4. And so those are 5 and 7. So these aren't 7 anymore. So these are 4 and 6. So that's a 7. Making those a 4-6 pair. Let's see. Jennifer is hunting down uncircled 7s. So this column has no circled 7, and this column has no circled 7. Particularly if I actually clean up my pencil marks and fill out that that's a 3 or a 4, and that's a 3 or a 4. So there's my 2 uncircled 7s. One of them is there, and one of them is in this column somewhere. So I get no more uncircled 7s, and so therefore in this box, I need a circled 7, and the circled 7 has to go there. Thank you, Jennifer. That was very nice. So this row, let's see, these are 4, 5, and 6. One of those is a 5, for whatever that is worth. And these are 1, 4, 6. Oh, that's the only one that can be 1. Yep, that's the only one that can be 1. That's been true for a while, I suppose. So we've got that. Again, there's an uncircled 7, and there's an uncircled 7 over here. So the 7 in this box is circled. So it's one of these two, is Garian's point. So these aren't 7. And therefore, just by Sudoku, that's a 7. One of these two is also 7 by Sudoku. So we've got that. Column 4. Again, the two uncircled 7s are here and here, so nowhere else can I have an uncircled 7. In particular, column 4, I can't have an uncircled 7, and therefore that's the 7, is Todd's point. Okay, so this row has got only a handful of things left, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. That can't be a 3, right? This is not in one of the 3 columns that has a circled 3, right? This is not allowed to be a 3 because remember, circled 3s only go in columns 3, 5, and 7. So this is a 4, 5, or a 6 only. Let's see. Isn't 7 in box 6 allowed to go here or here? I think 7 in box 6 is allowed to do both of those. I don't understand the 7 in row 2 comment. Oh, this is row 2. It's because I looked at it. I'm not kidding you. I think I looked at that comment 3 different times, and every time I looked at row 3 and was like, every cell is circled. What can I do with that? So 7 in this row either has to go in a circle, so there or there. Those are the 2 places for 7 in this row. I don't think that does. Oh, you can't put a 7 in the one that already has a 7 in the column, though, it turns out. So I can only put the 7 there. Okay, so that handles this column. I'm going to go ahead and mark up this column. The 3, 4, and 6. Oh, we've got a 7, 9 pair in box 2. Right. 7 and 9 are a hidden pair in box 2. So thank you, Paul Fly. So this is the other ones. One of these is the 3. I don't know if that's interesting. It doesn't immediately seem interesting. The 3 in box 5 is restricted, points out Carl. Because the 3 in box 5 now only goes in one of these 2, which makes that a 4, that a 5, and that a 3. And so good spot to Carl there. So now that's a 3. So that's not a 3 anymore. One of these 2 is a 3, therefore, by the column. Let's see. Let's see. I suppose I should mark these corners because there's not a lot left in this box, and maybe it'll be useful. It was not as useful as I hoped, if I'm honest. The 3 corner marks here look directly at that cell. That's true. It's 4, 3, 4, 6. Sorry, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6. These aren't 4. This isn't 5 or 6. Okay, so how am I doing on 4s in circles? I only have 1 4 in a circle, and I have 4 4s out of circles. So I only have 1 more 4 out of circles that I'm allowed. In fact, I have to have exactly 1 more 4 out of circles. 4 in box 5 by Sudoku is just here, points out Carl, which makes that an 8. Makes those a 5, 6 pair. Makes that a 3. That a 7 and a 9 and a 4. And I think that's now all my 4s out of circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, every other 4 is circled for whatever good that's going to do me. It probably isn't, but it might. 4 and 6. I don't think I'm going to have any danger of accidentally putting a 4 not in circles, though. Let's see. So that is a 5 and a 3. That is a 7. These are a 5, 8 pair. That is an 8 and a 5 and a 3. And an 8. This is a 5 or a 6. This is known. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 9. So let's see. Let us look at what the betting tree can be. The betting tree is not cooperating. The betting tree can be 5 or 6. And so the question is, how many 5s do I have in circles and how many 6s do I have in circles? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Well, I have 3 6s out of circles, so I don't get any more 6s out of circles. So therefore, that's the 6. And the 5 and the 6. And the betting tree is a 5. So congratulations to all the 5 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. And yes, that is a very satisfying that is a very satisfying resolution to that deadly pattern, is having it sorted out by the circles there. That was very cool. Yeah, I mean, Marty mentions I didn't mention swordfish or jellyfish. I mean, I only use the technology that seems necessary, and it did not at any point seem necessary to use fancy swordfish technology when we could just say the things about, like, counting 3s. Like, I'm more than happy to use swordfish if I think that's the intended thing, but I think here that wasn't really necessary in order to sort of understand what was happening, because it was so clear. Like, I mean, I think this would be an excellent introduction to swordfish, because I think you can figure this puzzle out without them, but then go back and understand exactly what's happening with swordfish and jellyfish, and sort of articulate it maybe slightly more easily, and then go, I get it. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to anytime use the logic that I've counted all of the digit in XYZ. Like, I'm very happy to say I've counted all the 2s in columns these or whatever. The swordfish logic is like one step past that, and we just never needed to do that. But I agree, as Jim says, it's very close to swordfish logic when you start counting, oh, I've used all the 2s in these 3 columns or whatever. But then you're basically really, I guess it's like the Zach wing versus X-wing thing. What would you color? Marty says, surprised that we kept track of what was going on without coloring. How could I color? Would you just color the cells with circles to keep track? Or would you color digits when they were done, maybe? Certainly, I'm no stranger to coloring on this channel, but I admit it never occurred to me that I could maybe figure something out by coloring. Yeah, if I sort of had to dive into the swordfish, no pun intended, then I definitely would color the prongs of the swordfish. Uh, uh, but I was sort of just keeping track of like, wait, what rows and columns is it? And the fact that I was also for fours keeping track of a slightly different collection of things also made me not want to focus overly on coloring one of those. But yeah, that would be sensible. I definitely also could see coloring the like, oh, I've colored all of these, all of this digit or whatever. All right. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back shortly with more puzzles. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. Jennifer in chat was asking about the distinction between Z-wing and an X-wing, and I just wanted to pull up a blank grid and talk about that for a second, because they show up and tend to look quite different. So, like, a thing that'll often happen in a puzzle is you'll get sort of corner marks that maybe look like those, or something across two boxes. And when you have this, the key thing to notice is that, as I always say, the two rows 2 and 3 get. Did I not say Zackwing? This is Zackwing that I'm talking about. Across rows 2 and 3. Row 2 and 3 only get 2 1s. And one of them has to be here and one of them has to be here. And so therefore none of these cells are 1s. And therefore the 1 is up here. Now, most people don't even name this because most people would say the way you're supposed to see this is to ask where 1 goes in row 1 and say, well, the 1 can't go here because of those corner marked 1s, and the 1 can't go here because of those corner marked 1s. So therefore the 1 is hidden, so to speak, or locked into these 3 cells. So one of these is a 1. That is never basically how I see these. Because usually the way I end up seeing it is by noticing some digits restricted and paying attention to like what rows it comes into. So that's what I call a Z-wing. And some people you'll see people use the phrase aligning and say you have aligning 1s between boxes 1 and 3, which I think is a very accurate description, but is also a bit wordy. So that's Zackwing, Z-wing, whatever you want to call it. An X-wing is something where you have, say, across all of row 3, these are the only 2 cells that can be a 1. So notice this is something that even to pencil mark this requires color or something like that. So I'm saying that in row 3, these are the only 2 cells that can be 1. And in row 8, say, these are the only 2 cells that can be 1. Then the consequence of that is that basically in column 2 and column 8, even though keep in mind I wasn't talking about columns at all, I was talking about row 3 and row 8. But actually in column 2 and column 8, I only get 2 1s between them, and those 1s have to now go in row 3 and row 8. And so the consequence of that is that I'm allowed to pencil mark all of these cells with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because none of them are allowed to be 1 anymore. That's an X-wing. And so an X-wing is a much more powerful deduction because it crisscrosses boxes, and there's no way to dodge this deduction by just looking for like a hidden 1 or something like that. That is that's the distinction between them. They're not actually even really that similar, but a lot of people sort of think of them as being in a similar vein, because they both sort of involve this logic of counting how many of something you get in some number of rows or whatever. Anyway, this has been your lecture for the day on Z-wings and X-wings. So next, let us do Unique Aurei by 99% Sneaky. So here we have a puzzle with normal Sudoku rules. We have Nabner lines, so any 2 digits anywhere on the same Nabner line can't be consecutive or the same, but that's not a problem in this issue. We have some black dots. We have some V's and some X's, and we have the rule that you're not allowed to repeat the same 4 digits on any 2 Nabners. So if this Nabner is 1357, I can't have another Nabner that's 1357. So that's very interesting as a rule to me. So that is that. And there's no negative restriction or no negative on any of these. so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Uh, uh, so first of all, I suppose I should ask for a bet tree for this. Uh, hey, Michael, do you have a recommended bet tree for this purpose? Let's see. Row 9, column 3. Thank you. Jovi wings is what we used to call Zach wings, but Jovi requested we rename them, so we renamed them to Zach wings, and Zach was all too happy to accept this honor. Is this ever a problem? I don't think this is ever a problem, is it? No, this is never quite a problem. So let's see. Well, I mean, this is certainly never a 1. Because if this is a 1, then that would be a 2, and that's not allowed. So if that's not a 1, that's not a 4. So if this is a 2, I guess this is a 4. If this is a 3, this is a 6. And if this is a 4, this could be a 2 or 8. So this is always 2, 4, 6, 8. This probably was not actually a productive use of my pencil marking, if I am going to be honest about it. Is there only one way to make this work? No, there's not only one way to make it work. Because I've got to do it twice. But like if I use 1, 9, I can't use I could use 1, 9 and 4, 6, or I could use 1, 9 and 3, 7. Or I could use 2, 8 and 4, 6. All of those are options. So that's okay. Let's see. Okay, so Garion would like me to mark this. So it's either 2, 4, 6 or it's either 2, 4, 8 or it is 3, 6. So it would. So there's always a 6 in one of these because whether it's 3, 6 or has a 4, then the 6 ends up here. Okay, so people want me to case check this. So I'm not usually enthusiastic about case checking, but I understand people's case checking here. So 3, 6 doesn't work because if you put 3, 6, then you also need a 7. So there's definitely a 4. And then, in fact, actually, there's definitely a 4, there's definitely a 6, and there's definitely a 2 and an 8, because whichever of the 2 and the 8 we don't have, we've got that down here. So these are from 2, 4, 8, these are from 2, 6, 8, and these are all odd. I'm going to mark in case it's somehow relevant later in my life. So for the same reason I'm being told I can't put a 3 here, because if I put a 3 here, there'll be a 6 here and a 4 here, and then 3 and 4 are both there, so this is never a 3, this is never a 6. This is never a 2, therefore. Oh, I already broke the puzzle, didn't I? Oh, no. Okay, so I have 3 of 2, 4, 6, 8, but this can't be 2, 4, 6, or 8. This has to be 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, because I'm not allowed to have a second 2, 4, 6, 8. But there's some things this definitely can't be. Like, this definitely can't be 3, because I've got a 2 or a 4 on the line already. Let's see. And I know this X is either 2, 8 or 4, 6. And so there's a 6 or an 8 on it for sure, which means this isn't 7. Now, is there a way there's neither a 4 nor a 6 in this thing? No. There's definitely a 4 in one of these two cells. So there's no 5 here. So this is always 1 or 9. Is there a way there's no 8? Yeah, 2, 4, 6. Then this could be 9. So I think this is 1 or 9. This certainly isn't the 4, by the way. So I think we get that. 1 doesn't work because we always have a 2. Right. If we don't use a 2, then these are 4, 8, 2, which doesn't sound great. So there's always a 2. So this is a 9. And we can get our Zach dance for 9. Ba-doop, ba-doop, woo! Ba-doop, ba-doop, wah! Ba-doop, ba-doop, wah! Ba-doop, 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 wah! Wee! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. And of course, as soon as we have a 9, it means we don't have an 8. And so these are a 4, 6. And so they have to go in that order. And that's a 2, and that's a 3. And now this is from 2, 4, 8. And so there's definitely a 4 here. We get to have a similar story. So there's no 4 there. This X is now fixed. Not quite. It's not 2, 8 or 4. No, it is fixed. This is 3, 7. Because it's not 2, 8. That would break this dot. It's not 4, 6. And it's not 1, 9. This is 3, 7. Which means that's not 3. So this is not 1 or 2. This is 3 or 4. Just for the record. So now I've got to be careful, because if I do this as 2, 4, I've got to make sure I avoid... well, I should also mention this can't be 8, because if this was 8, that would be 2. So... this is 6 or 8. Where did I get... yeah, 6 or 8. No, that's right. This is 6 or 8. Now, if I do 2, 4, 6, I think we just argued that we're forced to get 2, 4, 6, 9, which doesn't sound good to me. So I probably should avoid doing that. Let's go through this again, though. If I make this a 2 and a 4... oh, no. If I make this a 2 and a 4, that's an 8. If I make this a 4 and a 6, yeah, this is definitely odd. That's certainly a thing that I can mention, because if it was even, it would copy this. So this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it's not a 3 for multiple reasons. This is always 4, 6, or 2, 8, so I always have something that touches 7 as well. There's always a 4 on this dot, so this is never a 5. If I make this a 9, it's assuredly going to force me to do the same thing I did down here. So this is going to have to be a 1 almost certainly. So let's just double check this. If this was a 9, then this would have to be a 6, 4, and then this would be a 2, and I'd be the same as this. So this is not a 9, it's a 1. Which means that that's a 4 and an 8, and that's a 6. So we've got all of that. We can go ahead and dump the rest of this column up here. So 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and this column also doesn't have a lot left, because 3 and 7 are secretly gone. So this is 1, 2, or 5. Interesting. This black dot is forced, Mekti is pointing out, because it can't be 3, 6, or 4, 8, or 2, 4, so it's a 1, 2 for sure. So these are either 3, 7, or 4, 6. It's not obvious to me which it is, but now this is 3, 7, because it sees 1, 2, and 4. So that is a 3, 7. And so what can go with 3 and 7? Well, not 1 because of the row, not 2, 3, 4. 5 can, not 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are forced to be a 5, 9 pair, just by virtue of that, which is very interesting. Not necessarily immediately useful, but it's good to know. Good to keep my options open. Let's see. Okay. That one doesn't see a lot. This one's not 3, 7 for sure. But I don't know too much about it, I don't think. Row 5, column 6 is now a naked single. Let's fill in this row. So we've got the 1 and the 2 for sure. We've got the 3 and the 7. And now the 5, 9 is there. Wow, that's gorgeous. Great spot to Emily there. So this is 5 or 9. Interestingly enough. Right. One of these is 4, 6. That's the point. I didn't understand Saori's point, but Todd has given it to me. One of these is 4, 6 looking down, so this isn't 4, 6. So these are, yeah, good spotting, Saori. I did not understand it, so good translating to Zeta language. So these are 2, 4, 6, and that one's only a 2 out of all of those. So that's not a 2. So this X is odd because it's not 4, 6 or 2, 8. So this is 3, 7 or 1, 9. That's not 3, so that's not 7. That's not 9, so that's not 1. If this was 3, 7, this would have to be 1, 9, right? Yeah, if this are 3, 7, this would have to be 1, 9. If this is 1, 9, this would have to be 4, 6, I guess, is part of the point. Tristan is telling me that you can't put 2 on a Nabner with a 3. I reluctantly agree that you cannot put 2 on a Nabner with a 3. So this is in fact 1, 3, 7, 5, or 9. That's not a 1. So let's see. 3 and 7 are each up here for what it's worth. So one of these two is a 3. I don't know if that's worth marking. It doesn't sound very worth marking to me, if I'm being completely honest. Let's see. Okay. So the point from Mekdi is this is not a 1, 2, so it has a 4 or a 6 on it. And that 4 or 6 is placed by sudoku onto this X. And once a 4 or 6 is placed onto this X, this is forced to be 4, 6, which means that this is 9 and 1 over here. That was a very clever spot. Let's see. So this is now 3, 7, because it's not 1, 9, 2, 8, or 4, 6. So this is 3, 7. It's a 3, 7 pair in the column, so that's not 3 or 7, but I don't know how excited I am about that. But it's true. I do have to be a little bit careful not to repeat any combos, but I don't think I'm at risk of that. Because of the fact that 3, 7's not on the line, and my other 3, 7 lines have 3 and 7 on them both. Okay, so that's really clever. So Todd points out this isn't 2, 8. Because if it's 2, 8, I'm obligated to put a 6 and a 3 over here, but that puts a 2 and a 3 together. So this isn't 2, 8. So this is 1, 9 or 3, 7. Now, if it's 3, 7, that sounds terrible. Because if it's 3, 7, I'm not allowed to use a 2 or a 4 or a 6 on this dot, and that's never going to work. So this is 1, 9. It's a 5 and a 9. There's no 2 here, and there's no 2 and there's no 4 because 4 would go with an 8. So this has to be 3, 6 actually, in order to make it work. So that is a 7 and a 3. Let's see. These 3 cells now are known, at least once I tell Sven that they're not 4 or 6. And they are not 7 either. No, sorry, they could be 7. They're not 1 or 9 either. Did I screw this up? I feel like I screwed this up. Let's do this again. Okay, so they're not 1 or 9. Oh, no, this is a naked 2. Okay. I'm not crazy. Okay, so and this isn't 4 or 6 either. Okay. So those are indeed 7 and 8. Okay. Let's see. So now over here... oh, these 2 cells I should fill in as well. Oh, this is just the only place for a 1 in this box, so I should probably fill in that. That's probably a good idea. Those are a 4, 6 pair, so now where does 4 go in this box? Only there. So now where does 4 go in this box? Only there with a 1, making that a 9 and a 1, making that a 5. Making these a 3, 7 pair. So these aren't 3 or 7. And so therefore that is a 9 and that's a 1. Over here, this is an 8 because there's a 3, 7 pair in the row. So this is not a 1. It's not an 8 or a 9. That's not an 8. Okay, so if this is not a 2... am I going to repeat myself? Oh, it is a 2. Never mind. Just by Sudoku, it is a 2. So that's a 7 and a 3. Making that the 5 and the 9 and the 7 and the 8. So neither of those is 8. Neither of those is 2. These are a pair of 3 and 6. So that's a naked something. That's a naked 7. So these are not 3, 6. So that's a 2 and a 5. It's a 7 over down there. We can point out all of those. Those are a 5, 9 pair. These are 1, 7, and 8. But the 3, 7 looks over, making that 8, 1, and 7. These are some things. Okay, so I've got to make sure I'm not duplicating anything or not at risk of duplicating anything. Oh, there's only one 1 left. It's being pointed out, and it goes there. That is good to know. This row is missing 4, 5, and 6, I believe. Yeah, not 7, not 3. So yeah, so 4, 5, and 6. Yep. And that 4 or 6. Oh, but this is just a 5 because there's a 4, 6 pair in the box. Yes, Sayori is also telling me that. So this is the 4, 6 that's not consecutive with this 3, 7, for whatever that is worth. What are these digits? Because I'm noticing they're definitely not 5, for example. They're not 3. So one of these is a 2, is the point. Because I can't make them an 8, 9 pair. So one of them's a 2, and as soon as one of them's a 2, that's not a 3. So that's a 7 and a 3, and as soon as that's a 7, that's a 4. And I can't put an 8 here, so these are a 2, 9 pair. This is quite fascinating now. I am enjoying it quite a bit, as I quite often do with 99% Sneakies puzzles. we've used the uniqueness rule several times already. We've used it to avoid 2, 4, 6, 8 a number of times, Tristan. We have we have definitely made good use of the uniqueness rule. 4, 6, 4, 9, 5, 8, 9. Your words, not mine. So this is a 3, 8, 2, 6, 8. And our betting tree is a 5. So congratulations to all the 5 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. 5 was the winning bid with a fifth of the bets. There's some nice symmetry there. I can get behind that. Alrighty, I am going to take a break, find another puzzle, and be back in just a moment. So I will see you all very shortly. Be right back. Alrighty, welcome back. Kurban suggesting we might need another five list challenge after how many 5s we have floating around. There have been a lot of 5 betting trees lately. We don't like to see the 5s getting uppity. Alrighty. So let's have a look at the rules of Niverio's puzzle. We get to shade, so I'm already excited. So we need to do normal Sudoku stuff. We need to make these 2 digits sum to 10, but not all the x's are given. Yes, do please hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. I hate to be like every other YouTube person begging you to hit the like button, but please do hit the like button. It really does help to make our lives better. So it is greatly appreciated if you do it every time, even though I'm sure it gets old. But fortunately, I can assure you it is not that much work to hit the like button. It is not the worst thing ever. Okay, so we need to shade some cells such that the following are true. All shaded cells are orthogonally connected without creating a 2 by 2. And groups of orthogonally connected unshaded cells form islands. Each island contains exactly one circle, and the number in the circle shows the size of the island. Each island contains digits 1 to n without repeats, where n is the size of the island. Each island has a different size. Okay, so this is Nurikabe-ish rule set. So we've got all of these. Each island has exactly one circle. I'm assuming it means to say that every circle is on an island, although I don't know if it actually says that. But in particular, if I made this green, it would create a unified island. And so I can't sort of group these together is one of the morals of this. So this is going to have to be green in order to make the size of this possibly work out to do this. And so I'm going to be sort of spreading out some green islands and some water, and all the water has to be connected. And we're going to end up with a little map at the end of the puzzle, and we're going to have some islands of different sizes, and it will probably be a lot of fun. I don't have a bet tree, but I'm going to go ahead and just choose that cell as the bet tree for the moment. So again, this needs to get to size 9. So it's definitely going to grow down at least to here in order to do that, because it can only possibly get really one cell up there. But keep in mind the water has to stay connected. So those have to be water just to do water connectedness things. This island still can't finish up here, so it's got to finish down there. Oh, this can't go here. If this is green, then that's water, and my water isn't connected. So that's water. So we've got all of that. So the 9 in column 1, I know goes in one of these cells. And that's just because of the fact that I can't repeat digits on an island. Okay. Right. So what Kuraban's seeing is that if this were water, it would make this island finish here because it can't grow into either of these. So in fact, that has to be land, and I have to keep it away from this island, or we've got some problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if I take that, that's only 7. So this is still island. And I need to, again, play keep away with these two. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even if I do that, I still need this to be island. And that's not going to be island. And so now this can... Oh, sorry. Let's first do this water needs to get out. And then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I need both, don't I? Can't I do both? Or don't I need to do both? Because did I really count this right? Maybe I didn't count. Oh, I didn't count right. This is 8. So either that cell or that cell is the last of this 9 island. Just to... Oh, right. This water needs to get out. Carl points out. This water needs to get out quite a bit, actually. Actually, this water needs to get out a lot. And in so doing, we have finished this island. But also, this digit has become a 1 because we need a 1 on this island, because digits on an island are 1 up to the size. So let us bring out Zach for the 1 dance. Ba-doop-ba-doop. Woo! Ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-ba-doop. 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 Wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. I see that this digit goes in one of those two places, but I can't imagine that that's useful. This has to be at least a 2. Oh, this island's not of size 1, so it has to grow because the islands have different sizes. So we can now grow that over there. Oh, right. I somehow was convinced it was the islands that couldn't have 2x2s. It's the waters that can't have 2x2s. So people are correct. I will make a 2x2 here. Here I was reassuring myself that I was allowed to make 2x2s of water, but actually I'm not. This needs to find a circle somewhere. The water still needs to get out, though. So this still needs to find a circle somewhere. So we've got all of that happening. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, it's probably that circle, but it could be that circle, I feel like. It's not something like if this goes up, it's going to force this to be too small and I'm going to have too many small islands. I don't think so. Okay. Yes. Okay, yes. Josh pointing out this has become an isolated body of water, so it escapes. That was because of this getting out. But now this needs to escape because of the fact that it needs to be at least of size 2. I need to keep those apart as best I can. This island now needs to have a minimum size of 4. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get it to size 4 without connecting down here. And annoyingly, I think that I can. I'm a little concerned I'm going to make 4 islands of size 3 or less. And get some sort of like weird virtual quadruple of 1, 2, 3 or something. Oh, right. The minimum size isn't 4 because the 4 would go in the circle if the size was 4, right? It's a minimum size of 5. Okay, thank you. And if the minimum size is 5, does that help? Unfortunately, I don't think it does appreciably because I could still do that if I need to. Let's see. This is not size 1 or 3. Could be size 2, though. Could be size 2. Yeah, 9 in box 4 is placed, Sarah points out. I totally agree with that assessment. So that is a 9. And these 2 cells are these 2 cells, for whatever that's worth. Let's see. Oh, right. These can't connect. I've been trying this whole time to prove that these connect, but Carl points out you absolutely can't do that. That would isolate this key down here. So this water has to escape. So this doesn't go all the way down. So, in fact, it has to go up, because if it doesn't go up, I could take that cell. I can't take that cell. I could take that cell, but I can't take that cell. So in order to get to 5, this needs to be green, now that I have seen that. Yeah, the key C, indeed. Very, very key. Okay. And this is, of course, not 1, 9, or 4, 6, so this is 2, 8, or 3, 7, for whatever that is worth. Let's see. So yeah, so now this needs to take that. And so if these two connect in some way, then that can't be land, because if that was land, then these two connecting would cut off the water. So that's got to be water. And now, if this was water, this wouldn't be minimum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cells. So that can't be water. That's got to be land. If I do this directly, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, if I do it directly, it's 8 cells. So this digit is an 8, because remember, I'm not allowed to repeat the 9. So we've got that 8. Okay, so this is going to go down here. If this is water, we also have problems, because if this is water, I'd have to bend around and I'd take a bajillion D too many cells. So that's not water. But now I think I'm open to do either that or that. I certainly can't. Oh, no, I could take that cell. I could do that. Right, I could do that. Yeah, so I don't think I know any more 4 cells. I just know that these connect. Okay. Yeah, so one of these is a 9 for sure. For whatever that is worth. Isn't it max 6 size? I think I get max 6 size. So this is minimum 5 and maximum 6, I think, in terms of size now, because of the fact that now it can't grow to touch there, can't grow to touch there, and can't do that. The water definitely escapes up column 5. That's true. For sure. Row 9, column 9 is definitely water, right. If this wasn't water, it would need to escape up. This 8 is using all of its cells to get here. I don't know if it's doing any. There's a bunch of options, but absolutely none of the options involve any of this being green. Nor is that possibly ever green. If this is island, we create a problem. Because if this is island, remember this connects to this, and now those two have blocked off this whole thing over here. So this can't be island, it's water. And now this is only a 5, I believe. Because I think those are the only cells it can take. So those are both green, and all of that stuff is blue. Which has made this blue, which has made this green. This needs further escape, actually, as Ambrose is pointing out in chat. This is certainly not a 7 or 8. Sorry, so this is not a 2 or a 3. There's a no 2x2 rule for water. Also, the water escapes up here, because this has become isolated. That has become green. If this was water, we'd have a huge problem, because if this is water, then this green would have to come up here and connect over to here, because that's 7 right there. But now this is isolated, so that doesn't work. So that's always green. Okay, this needs to escape up this whole column, because if it doesn't come up this column, then the water is isolated at the bottom. Oops, that was supposed to be water. Sorry. The water chases that up there. Let's see. Okay, Sayori, that's ridiculous. Sayori spots that in this column, I need a 9, and I'm not allowed to have a 9 on the 8 island at all. I'm just going to notice, by the way, the 3 on the 8 island is here while I'm at it. That can't be a 9 because there's a secret 9 looking at it. This can't have a 9 because it's not of size 9, so therefore the only spot for 9 in the column is there. And therefore this is blue. That is bonkers. Okay, so this is blue as well. This is green to avoid a 2x2. I can't make this blue because then this island would be of size 4 and the 4 wouldn't be in the circle, so that's green. So this can only be of size 6 or 7. The blue still needs to connect around, so that's green. So the blue still needs to connect around. So We've got all of that. There's a 9 in one of these two cells just by sudoku. These I know are a 1, 2, 3 triple. So this digit's not a 4. It's at least a 5 or a 6, and it can't be as high as a 7. So this can only be a 5 or a 6. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so people are saying if this is 7, it breaks because now this is a 2. Right. If this is 7, then that's water. And if that's land, it's broken. If that's water, it's broken. So it can't actually be 7. It's actually 6 and 5. Good spotting to everyone who saw that. Now this column needs a 9, and it goes there for similar reasons. So these are 6, 7, and 8. And this one's not allowed to be 8. This one's not allowed to be 6. This island is done, by the way. Now that we've got that. So these are 1, 2, 3. Just by the by. So now this can't be a 2. For the awesome reason that if this circle is a 2, this is a 1, and I've got a 1, 2, 3 quadruple in the row. So this is a minimum of 3. So we've got that going up. This could be... 3 is not even enough. Because if this is a 3, this would still be 4 digits from 1, 2, 3. So it needs to be at least 4. But if I look at it now, it can't be any bigger than 4, certainly. Because if it's bigger than 4, it's going to have to be 7 exactly. And there's no way this is getting to 7. So it is a 4. That's not a 9, by the way. So that's a 9. That's blue. That's blue because the blues have to connect. That's green. So that's a 2 and a 1. These are a 1, 2, 3 again. So we've got that. Let's see. We've got plenty more Sudoku. This 3 looks up there, so that's a 3. That's not a 3. So one of these two is a 3. I am excited to tell you. One in this row, I guess, has only a couple places. Are these really a 6, 7, 8 triple? Because, yeah, they're not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, these are a 6, 7, 8 triple. So this is the other 1, 2. Where does 1 go on the 9 island? 1 on the 9 island only goes here, actually, because of that 1, 2, 3 triple ruling it out of that cell. So that's the 1 for the 9 island. Okay, this cell's now quite restricted because it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, or 9. So this is only a 6 or a 7. Let's see. The 3 on the island is not in any of those cells, at the very least. It's not in that cell. Still looks like there's a little bit of optionality. Let's see. Okay, that's 6, 7, 8. That's 7, 8's up there somewhere. I need a 4 in here somewhere. I need a 5 down here somewhere. Carl points out that in this 1, 2, 3 triple in the box, the 1 is always up here. So therefore, this is a 2, and that's a 1, and that's a 2, and that's a 1. And now that's a 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 3. Good spotting to Carl. So these are a triple of 5, 6, and 7. Now, this row needs to have that 5, 6, 7, that 8, and a 9. So because there's definitely a 1, a 2, and a 4 in these cells is just what I'm saying. Oh, in fact, these cells are a 1, 2, 4 triple. And of 1, 2, and 4, that one can only be 4. And these are a 1, 2 pair, is what I'm actually saying. I realize once I see the 5, 6, 7 triple that I didn't previously see. In that triple, one of those is the 5, so that's not the 5. So this cell sees everything except 8 and 9 because it sees that whole mess. So that is 8 or 9. If it's 8, that digit's an 8. And if it's 9, one of these two is a 9, which is less exciting. 4 and the 9 island I'm being encouraged to look at. Oh, there's a 4 in this box. That's somewhat restrictive. So 4 and the 9 island is there or there. Do I have some innate sense of which one? I don't think so. Let's see. Oh, you know what would really help is taking Sayori's point that if you have a 2 on an X, you probably also have an 8 on the X. Oh, I'm being told that Sven will tell me which of the digits on here is a 4. So I'm just going to mark everything with a 4. And Sven is telling me that's not a 4 because there's a 4 in the box, like pixels below the place where I was looking. So that has become the 4. These are a pair, actually, of 3 and 5. So these are some other things that aren't 3 and 5. In particular, they aren't 5, so they're 2, 6, 7, or 8. 2 on this island only goes in one of these two places. Oh. 2 can't go here. If 2 goes here, I can't put a 2 in column 1. Because this digit needs to show up in column 1 somewhere, and it's up here. So this is in fact a 6, 7, 8, and I can catch up it. Because I know where it goes in column 1, because it can't repeat on the island. So similarly, these aren't 2. Because if any of these were... No, never mind, sorry. If those were 2, that... No. This can't be 2. So the 2 on the island is over here. And the 3 on the island is over here. Because, again, that can't be 3. But the 2 is placed by Sven. And once the 2 is placed by Sven, the 3 is placed by Sven. So we've got all of that. So one of these two is a 5. Does Sven know which of those is a 5? Apparently not. Well, good enough for now. These digits are something. In fact, that one's just a 9, apparently. No idea how I got that lucky, but I'll take it. This is apparently a naked 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Yep, it is absolutely a naked 7. 6, 7. That 6 tells me that ketchup isn't 6. Placing 6 in the 6, 7, 8 triple, that is 6 there. So that's the 6 for the 8 island. Ketchup now goes here because ketchup is 7 or 8, and this cell is not 7 or 8. And ketchup's already on the island, so it can't go anywhere like that. So this is the 7 or 8 for this cell. These are some assorted other digits. Apparently this one's only a 5. And so that's a 7-8 pair for the island, which makes this the 5 for the island, because 5 is the thing we've not yet placed on the island, making that a 7 and a 5. The 7 looks over and 8's the ketchup. 8's the verb, to be clear. That's a 7. The the process of being turned into an 8. So that is a 4. Or alternatively, some random other digits, 6 and 5. Let's fill in this stuff over here. That didn't go as well as I hoped, but I see I have a 5, 7, 8 triple if I squint hard enough, which makes that a 3 and that a 6 and that a 4. That's a 5. That is an 8. So 7 and 5, and 8 and 3, and 7 and 8, and 9 and 5. That was not the place for the 5 where it was supposed to go. So these cells can all be markified in hopes of finding even more naked doobly-doos. Let's see. That 1-2 pair looks over at that 2-7, making that a 2 and a 7, and a 7 and a 4, and a 1 and a 4. And a 6, and a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and a 9. And our bet tree is a 1. So congratulations to all the 1 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. A third of people bet 1. Was this on Cracking the Cryptic? This must have been on Cracking the Cryptic if there have been 7,000 solves of it. Well, congratulations, Paul Fly. I hope you enjoy your winnings. Very neat puzzle. Very, very cool. There's one spot up here that I really loved. I'm trying to remember what it was now. There were many very nice things, but there's one deduction up here that I now can't remember, but I remember being like delighted by. Oh. My favorite part I remember was to do with these cells and the fact that if this was a 2 or a 3, it would put 3 1 2 3s in the row and it couldn't. And so this had to be a 4 because it was the only digit that would work. That was the thing that I really liked best out of the solve path. Alrighty. I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with another puzzle of some description. So see you shortly. welcome back, everyone. Imperio is asking what on earth is going on with the points. Also, welcome, Doomdiat. I hope you're doing well as well. So, Imperio, we have long had this bet tree tradition, and so Tristan discovered that there's a bot that will keep track of bets and pay out bets for bet tree stuff. So the point of points is to bet points so that you can win points. So if you like seeing numbers go up, the thing is cool. So yeah, that's basically it. So it's a fun little game for those who want. And if you don't like it, you could just block the bot, and you will see, and everything, and you will see almost nothing of it. So if you want to block Streamlabs so that you don't have to deal with it, you can. But you do earn points by chatting. That is how you do it. Bet tree row 6, column 4. All right. So I saw a grid with circles, and so I was like, ooh, I'll do a grid with circles. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. All orthogonally connected groups of odd digits contain exactly 5 cells. That seems insanely restrictive to me. It's not even obvious to me that that's going to be possible. But we're certainly going to odd even color. I mean, I would say circles are the old little arrows. I've been putting circles in my puzzles since literally the first puzzle had circles in it. And I've put these circles in dozens of puzzles. So I would say circles that count stuff is like a very old Zeta passion. So digits and circles indicate the number of odd digits in the at most 3x3 area around the circle. So we get to start with the fact that this is at most 4, but it's certainly not 1. Because if it was 1, it would say this was odd and these were even, and then this would be a 1 size omino, and 1 is not enough. It's certainly also not 4, because if it were a 4, it would say all 4 of these cells are odd, but that has the problem that 4 is not odd. And so we're immediately down to 2 or 3 of these being odd. Josh is pointing out that this is just a write-in. This is a 5. And the reason why this is definitely a 5 is because it's just counting the odds in this box. Thank you, Myxo, for the generosity of giving us a free 5. Oops, I have made it purple. One moment. We will bring out Zach for the 5 dance. Boop boop ba doo. Wah. Boop boop ba boo. Wah. Ba doop ba doop. Wah. Ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop ba doop. Thank you, Zach. There's another one hidden down here. I'd have found it eventually, maybe, possibly. All right. Let's see. Well, these 2 circles are at most 8. In fact, actually, can this circle be bigger than 5? Let's say this circle was a 6. Yeah, it could be a 6, because my odds could run like that. There's certainly no way it could be a 9. And 8 would also be a problem. So this cell is at most 6. I mean, it's certainly not a 1. There's no way it's a 2, right? 2 would mean that all of this stuff was even. Yeah, that's too much even. Because 2 would mean that all of this is even, but that only leaves room for 4 odd numbers in this box. So this is certainly not a 2. If this is a 3, then it's saying I get... Don't worry, Jays. I do that all the time. You would be in good company here if you had claimed that it could be 7. I am noticing, by the way, speaking of 5s and 7s, that 5s and 7s are pushed into the corners over here. I don't know what to do with it, but I assume it's something. This being a 3 is still awfully low because I know there's a minimum of 2 odds here and 1 odd there. So these would have to both be even if this was a 3. Oh, the 3 would count itself. Sorry. If this is a 3, the 3 counts itself. These are all odd, and therefore all of these are even. And that's a 2, so that would be odd. Oh, I see the problem. If this is a 3, then all of these are even, but all of these are odd, which makes that circle a 3. So if this is a 3, that's a 3, and that's not good. So this is not a 3, and therefore it's even. I thought I could get that. Garion had a much more elegant proof of this, which involved noting that this circle is smaller than this circle by the number of odd digits that are over here. So this digit can only be 1, 2, or 3. And if this was a 3, then you can see that this being a 3 would force that to be a 2, which would break that cell, I think was how Garion was directly seeing it. Well, it's this... Sorry. This could be a 4. It could be 4. But it can't be 1, because it already sees 2 odds. Sorry, in my brain 4 wasn't less than 4 or 6, but 4 is in fact less than 4 or 6, I can attest. If this is 2, all of these are even. Now that's a 3, and all of these are odd. If this is a... if this is a 3, it's isolated. Because if this is a 3, these are the only 3 odds it sees, and this is not part of a 5-omino. That logic is going to elude me for a long time. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's see. So those 2 are even. Let's see. If this is a 2, then that's a 4 and that's a 6. Okay, so if this is a 2, this is a 4, meaning that all of these are odd. If this is a 6, it actually means all of these are odd. Is that interesting? Oh, no, that's not true. Sorry. If this is a 6, it doesn't mean all of those are odd, necessarily. But if this is a 4, it does mean all of these are odd. Interestingly enough. Yeah, this cell is somewhat restricted. Can I possibly have a 7 in a circle? Well, I can't have a 7 in this circle. I don't have to think too hard about that one. This circle's not going to be a 7. There aren't even 7 cells. I don't think this can possibly be 7 either. Because if I put all of these things, these cells are all connected. What's the minimum number of cells that I could remove to disconnect the set of 9 things? Well, it's not 2. No matter what 2 cells I remove... Oh, no, sorry, that's not true. I could do that. But that's not good enough. Right, so the only way I can disconnect it is to disconnect a corner, but that still would leave a contiguous group of 6. 6 is too many. So that's not a 7. So, therefore, there's a 7 in one of these cells, and if you believed that argument, that's not a 7. Let's see. Is there more sudoku on 7s? That doesn't sound great to me. So this is not a 5, 7, or 9. So if this is odd, the only things it can be are 1 and 3. Well, it can't be 1. So if this is odd, it's exactly a 3. Is there a problem with this being exactly a 3? Yes, there is a problem with this being exactly a 3, but it's complicated. If this is exactly a 3, let me just show you what happens. It makes this exactly a 2. Oh, no, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay. Sorry, that could be the one the 2 sees. No, never mind. I think it's okay. At the very least, there's one more case than I wanted to think about. to prove it that it's not a 3. It's funny. I know exactly one of these two is odd. So one of these two is odd. That one's odd. So there's at least 2 odds in this column. Because these can't both be odd. Because that would make this have no value. So one of these is odd and one of these is even. I usually denote that with a red line. I think that's interesting for purposes of this, because the maximum number of odds that I can have hidden over here is 3. Therefore, 2 of these are odd. So if this was a 3, it would be seeing exactly those. It would be seeing itself, the 5, and in fact, the 7 is the other odd. And it would need to see nothing else. So it would need to be the case that this was odd, and that was odd, and you'd have that sort of shape. It's maybe okay. All right, I'm fine with all of that, I think. Now, I totally agree the circles aren't 8 or 9 ever, or 7. So the circles are... So if we want, we can actually mark every circle with the fact that it's at most 6. And then we can use things like that one's not 5 because of that stuff. That one's not 5 either. It's also not 6. The ones on the border can't be 6, because if the ones on the border were 6... I mean, there's so many problems, I don't even know where to start in articulating why it can't be 6. That one's certainly not 6. So we've got all of that. Yeah, one's next to an odd can't be 1. I wasn't super enthusiastic about doing this. This one, I've already argued this one's not 2 either, because I've said there's 2 odds there. So this one I know sees a bare minimum of 3 odds. So this is 3, 4, or 6. So if this is not 3, these are a 4, 6 pair, and that's a 2. Is that broken for some reason? Oh, this is a 2, 3, 4, 6 quad. Wow, this is a 2, 3, 4, 6 quad. That's awesome. Okay, so my 2, 3, 4, 6 quad means that these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These aren't 7, I know. And so one of these is an 8. Wow, this is weird. So those aren't 8. So these are both odd always. Just by candidate magic craziness. So this isn't a 3, because if it was a 3, it would be a 4. So it's blue. Therefore, that's a 2. That's a 3 and is orange. Now, this 2 already sees 2, so those are blue. So that's an 8. That's certainly orange. So we can do that. We can get rid of the line. That's orange because of pentamino stuff. And so those are both blue, also because of pentamino stuff. So we've got all of that. Okay, so this is currently only counting to 3, so it needs a 4th. And it can only be a 4, so that's a 6. And it's currently only counting to 5, so that's orange. Okay. This certainly is not a 1. It's certainly not a 6. I don't think there's any rule about repeating things in things. So I think that's all good. This one's not a 3. It's not a 1 either. In fact, no circle can be a 1. Because if any circle was a 1, it would be isolated Yes. Let's just argue that all at once. I see Sarah also noting that circles can't be 1. That's not a 2 or a 4. That's not a 6. Okay, there's only one more odd in this row, fascinatingly enough. And so Michael points out that tells me this can't be 5, because if this were a 5, I would need all of these to be odd, and that would be 6 odds in row 1, and there's not enough of them. So this is definitely blue. This sees 3 already, and so if this is a 3, I would need all of these to be even, which looks horrible. But I don't immediately see that it breaks, but it hurts my soul, because it would mean the pentomino... No, it does break. It immediately breaks. So if this is a 3, here's what happens. So if this is a 3, it immediately makes all of this blue, but that's all the blue for the column, so it makes all of this orange. But now this is already a 5 omino, so that makes all of this blue in order to not have my 5 omino be too large. And now I have 6 evens in box 5, which is too many evens to have in box 5. Okay, so that's not a 3. That's a 5. So that's not a 5. Interesting. So the 5 is in the row. This is a 1, 7, or 9. The 5 in the row is the odd that's over here. Just sudoku logically. So if this is a 4, it would mean that all of these are odd. Let's see. Don't immediately see a problem. Oh, actually, I think I see a problem if this is a 2. If this is a 2, well, one of these is definitely odd. Oh, right. At most, okay. Here is the thing. These can't both be even because there's not enough evens left in the row. In fact, these are a 2-4 pair. There's only one more even left in the box. If these are both odd, does that create any problems? I don't know. But I know at least one of them is odd. And I know there's a 6 down. No, I know this is a 6 or an 8, but I don't know the 6 is down there. Let's see. I know that this 5 is currently seeing 3. The 5 sees 3, but only one can be connected to it. So at least one of these two is odd, which means this is always even. That's amazing. So the thing I'm seeing is if this digit is odd, this 5, its 5th odd, creates a 6th odd in this clump. So this is never odd. It's even. But it's also the last even for the box. So those are all odd. That's very cool. I don't know if that's at all the intended way to see that, but it's very cool, regardless of whether it is intended or not. So that has done that. Let's see. Okay, so now, well, this is still a 2 or a 4. So funnily enough, these two are the same parity. So I can mark that with a gray line. These two have the same parity. For whatever use that will get me, depending on whether that is a 2 or a 4. Yeah, no 2x2 would be super helpful, wouldn't it? This is a 6 or an 8. Oh, sorry. This is a 6 or... No. This is a 6 or a 4. 13th time's the charm. You know what they say. Let's see. One of these is a 5. This one I'm sus about, but I'm trying to avoid having to think about it too much. This can't possibly be a 3. Because these 4 odd digits, they all live in these cells. So this, at a minimum, sees all 4 of those digits. So this can't be a 3, it's a 6. So that's an 8, and that's a 6. Now, this being a 6 is going to require some caution, we'll say. Caution, that's the word we're going to use. Both of these are odd now, because that's the last even for the row. So now these two are the same parity, and that parity must be even. Because if that parity was odd, this would be a hexamino, and that's just ridiculous. So those are both even, which means this was a 2 and that was a 4 all along. We just didn't know it. This digit's a 2, and this digit is a 4 or an 8. It's in particular not a 5 or a 9. The 5 is still over here. These aren't 2. Let's see, 5. This is definitely Myxo approachable. This row has all the evens, so those are both odd. This is one of each. I'm going to mark, although it literally does nothing. It's a 5 and a 4 and 8, I guess. This 6 currently sees 4. But those can never both be odd. So this is like a ye old pencil puzzle trick of I need 2 of these 3, but not these 2. So therefore this one. And now, actually, now that I have that, now this 4 amino actually has the 5 up here. That is 5 total. So these are both blue. And now the 6 tells me that that is orange, which is the 5th one for these. So those are both blue. I do love this puzzle, by the way, just to be clear. Let's see. This is not a 4 or a 6. This is a 3 or a 5, which is just its way of telling me those two are the same parity. Okay, this has become blue, so it's probably not a 3 or a 5. It's not a 5 in the corner either. Let's see. This 5 currently sees 4. So one of these two. So this is an odd even pair again. In order to make this 5 work. But it matters whether that's the odd or that's the odd for what happens to these cells. Let's see. So these two have the same parity. But I don't know what parity. Oh, this seems not to be able to be a 2 anymore. So this is now up to a 3 or a 4, for what it's worth. Row 6, column 8. Ah, yes. That's a very good spot from Ben. If this is even, then that's all the evens for the box. And so the odds for the box look like this, which is a very big problem for this. So this is always odd. So this is therefore, is this therefore definitely not a 2? Right. This is therefore definitely not a 2 because it already sees 3. So it's not a 2, and it's not a 3 either because it already sees 3. If it was a 3, it would see 4. That logic shows up in so many puzzles, but it's always very weird. So this is a 4 or a 5. There's a 4-6 pair in this row that I had not appreciated. So this even is a 2 or an 8. Okay, right. So, Matophli, sorry, Matt Laffey, I'm sorry, I am very dyslexic, and I just mix vowels all around. If this is a 5, Matt Laffey's point is, sorry, if this is a 3, Matt Laffey's point is that would make both of these blue. That would be all the blues for the row. That would make all of these odd, and that would be 5, 6, 7, 8 at a very bare minimum, odd cells in this amino, so that's not allowed. So this can't be a 3. It has to be a 5, with these going orange, orange, and that going blue. I enjoy that point. Let's see here. So now this is a 4 or a 6, which is saying that these two are the same high-lowity, because it currently sees 4. So these two are the same high-lowity. And these two are still opposite high-lowities. So if that high-lowity is even, these are a 2-4 pair. That's hilarious. If this is a 4, it makes both of these even, which makes them a 2-4 pair, which puts too many 4s in the box. So this can't be a 4, it's a 6, which means that these are both orange. I was pretty sure as I was seeing that I was like, that combination does not work. But it took me a second to sort of get all the words in the right order to be like, yeah, that really does not work. Okay, so these are 1, 3, and 9, just for the record, and that one's not 9. This now can't be orange, or it would make an umpteen gun, and I'm not allowed an umpteen gun. So we've got all of that. Let's see. Yeah, Ambrose just told me that that was blue. So if this is a 4, and that's orange. No, Ambrose. You told it to me like literally as I was like I explained it, and then I looked at chat, and then I saw that you were talking about the same thing. Oh, 5 isn't blue. There we go. That seems like a good topic of conversation. I'm getting worried about this being a 4. Yeah, this being a 4 doesn't work anymore. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I think the point is the point this is always orange or something. This being a 4 worries me because I only get one orange and I need an orange. One of these two cells must be orange. Can both of them be orange? Because if both of them are orange, then I need blues all around. And there. I can't quite make sense of it yet. 7 needs to escape. Something like that. This digit is a 4 or an 8. I should just keep track of. There's a 5 in one of these two cells I should keep track of. Let's see. So if this is orange, I need to play keep away. So those would both be blue. That's too many oranges in the box is the problem. Wow, okay. So this is what people in chat were seeing. It would have been a while before I looked at this. In the world where this is orange, I need to stop these from joining that. So these would both be blue. This omino isn't done, so that's orange. But now this omino is nowhere near done, so these are orange. But now we have put 6 odds into this box, and I can't have 6 odds in this box. That is too many odds. So therefore, this can't be odd, is what people in chat were seeing. So it's even and a 4. And now this needs to be orange in order for this life to continue. And now by, again, sort of pencil puzzly logic, one of these is odd and is the last odd of this omino. So this is always even. And it's the last even of the column. So those are both orange. And this is a 3. The 4 is done. So these are all blue. The orange does do the thing that it was going to do, which means that's blue. The 3 had better be right. And that places a 3 up here, which means one of these two is a 3, but I don't think I know which one. This is done, so that's blue. This is not done, so that's orange. This is not done. This is a 2 or an 8. I feel like I could have just... No, I don't know. I feel like there's probably another argument available to me there that would have seemed more normal than the sort of weird way I argued it. Although I'm not at all unhappy that we argued it in a weird, fun way. Just it felt like there was a normal people way to argue this that wasn't quite as look at how many oranges end up in here. So these are a 2-4 pair, and I know the order, actually. And what's more, this is orange, which Tom pointed out to me. So now this is officially orange, because it's only able to be 3 or 5. This is 2 or 5. Let's see. So this is actually just a naked 8 now, because it's not 2, 4, or 6. So that's a 4 and a 2 and an 8 and a 2. So we've got all kinds of even stuff going on. One of these two is indeed a 6. These are indeed a 6-8 pair, and that's the one that's the 8. That's the one that's the 6. So one of these is a 6, I suppose. And one of them's a 2, actually. Because this is a 4 or an 8 by the column, and it's not an 8. So that's a 4, and that's an 8. And so these are a 2, 6. I have all the evens in this column now. So that's orange, and that's blue by red longitude. The 5 is orange, not blue. That's a 4. Well, that was a nice detour into doing Sudoku on blues. Let's see. Is there any way these two avoid joining? I don't know, if I'm being honest. So triple in row 2. It's true. Let's go ahead and fill that in. 1, 7, and 9. That one's only 1 or 9. There's one more 4 in the grid. Yes, there is one more 4 in the grid. That's super helpful because the remaining 4 is there. And that makes both of those orange. So these are 1, 3, 9. That one's not a 3. That one's not a 3. So that one is a 3. Oh, that's great. Because that means that's a 5, and I don't have to think about it anymore. It means that's a 2, so I don't have to think about it anymore. And because it's a 2, it already sees it's 2, and so all of that's blue. So those aren't 5 anymore. This is orange because it needs to be, because row. These are a 6, 8 pair. And I know the order because that's the 6 and that's the 8 and that's orange because the box is done. This row needs a 6. Sure does. That's a 5 because of my corner mark from before. See, occasionally corner marks come back and I actually notice that they're there. This is a 7 just by the row because I need a 7 in the row and it can't go anywhere else. So that makes this the 3 for this box, which makes that the 3 for that box, which makes that a 1 and a 9. And that is a 5. That's a 9 and a 1. This is a 9 and a 3. This is a 1 or a 7, but it's a 7. So that's a 1 and a 7. This is a 1 or a 9, and it sure is. But that's the 7. I know that. So this is a 1 or a 9, and that's a 1 or a 9. That's a 1-9 pair, which makes that a 7. These certainly can't join, or I'd have a giant amalgamation monstrosity. So that's going to be blue. It's going to be orange. I'll go ahead and fill it in. Congratulations to all the 8 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes still come true, even though we filled it in slightly early, although I suspect the puzzle's almost done because I see that that's a 3. These are a 1-7 pair. These I'd better keep apart or they'll also be some horrid monstrosity. So that's orange, which means I need to finish up this. This is already done, so it can't turn into a horrid monstrosity. So that's there. And now this is orange because this box has all its evens. And so the 2 is placed here by Sudoku. Let's see, the 6 here, the 8 there, the 2 and the 6 there, 6 there, and we're done the even part. This is a 1 or a 9. These are a 1 and a 9 as well. Except this 1-9 Sven has spotted, sees the 9 in the row. So that's a 1 and a 9 and a 7 and a 1 and a 9 and a 1. 9 and a 1 and a 9 and a 1 and a 9 and a 1 and a 9 and a 1. If you were hoping for the AMSR or ASMR of Zeta saying and a 1 and a 9 and a 1 and a 9 and a 1 and a 9 for a minute straight, you got that. I hope you appreciate that. And then we're done. Wonderful, wonderful puzzle there, Myxo. That was a lot of fun. It seems to me like it must be incredibly restricted just to even achieve the distribution of these ominoes. Like I'm actually surprised. Like this is the kind of puzzle that if some new setter was telling me, hey, I have this great idea for a puzzle. I want to set a puzzle where all the odds are in pentominoes. I feel like my guess would be like, that sounds like a complete nightmare. But this solved quite nicely. So I am guessing it was a nightmare, but it was worth the nightmare because it resulted in a good puzzle. There were no 2x2s. It's true. There were no 2x2s. Yeah, starting from a finished grid makes perfect sense for this sort of puzzle. Alrighty. I think we can wrap up stream for today. Yeah, I would want to start with a finished coloring and make sure that finished coloring actually had a solution. Because I feel like there's a lot of colorings that have 5 oranges in every row, column, and box and do this that also don't have any solutions because of some Sudoku logical reason. I don't know if you ran into that, but that would be my concern, would be that, hey, this looks plausible, but actually this digit is secretly like that digit and doesn't get ruled out or whatever. Myxo says they didn't run into that. Okay, interesting. Interesting. And I mean, the fact that you're allowed to, like, there aren't any, like, weird restrictions, like you can't repeat 7 inside your pentomino, that would be a complete nightmare. Then you'd be in real trouble. But yeah, that very cool logic and puzzle there. Alrighty, but I think that is a good place for me to wrap up stream for today. We are on our regular schedule now, so I know there was chaos for an extended period with exactly when we were streaming, but I'm now streaming Fridays 4 hours ago is when I start. Sundays, and then Tristan is streaming on Tuesdays. And you should be able to check the schedule on YouTube and see those, but it's going to be the same routine for the next 10 weeks or so, somewhere in that vicinity. So there'll be some stability, with possibly some bonus streams in there for holidays, which I usually do, and that kind of thing. So we'll get closer to there. Anyway, thank you all for coming. If you haven't yet liked the stream, please do like the stream. It does really help. Just click the thumbs up button. Ring the bell if you want YouTube to actually tell you when I go live. I know a couple people have got by the fact that YouTube is incredibly bizarre for whatever reason, and sometimes doesn't tell you about things, even though you think you told it to tell you about things. But thank you also to everyone who supports the channel. It is greatly appreciated. I love having you all here. I love doing this. There were a bunch of really cool puzzles today, and actually a bunch of cool puzzles today, none of which I think ended up being incredibly difficult or long. So we actually did more puzzles than usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. I think we did 6 puzzles today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream financially. It really matters a lot. We really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support the stream financially, the easiest way to do that is to click the join button down below, where for as little as $5 a month, you can support the channel and get your green name, the little windmill next to your name, and the little windmill levels up with you as you do that, and you get the Zach emotes, like the roping Zach. I really like the roping Zach. You also get some Quackers emotes. I must advertise on Tallcat's behalf. There are also Quackers emotes in there. So there are many cool things to do, and at higher levels than that, there are other perks that we tried to make work out. So anyway, so if you want to do that, or if for whatever reason YouTube membership doesn't work, but you'd like to see something else, we have Patreon and Ko-fi and other things. So let us know if for some reason YouTube doesn't work, but you want to give money. We greatly appreciate it, and we always thank all the supporters on all the Be Right Back screens and everything, so you can see all of that. It is hugely appreciated. So thank you so much. I also, at the end of every stream, like to call out all of the turbines, the people who contribute at the top level, because I couldn't really think of anything else to do for the turbines other than to say that I'll name them every time. So anyway, so I do. We have David, Nordy, Franco, Woofer, DDX, Daniel, Willie, Danita, and Nell. And I can say, I think that Nell is going to be a guest on an upcoming stream. So big fan of Nell's streams. And Nell's going to come solve some puzzles with us as well. So you can look forward to that. But for now, thanks everyone for watching. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.